He's a guy without a clue who doesn't know what to do. Republican or Democrat, he's not sure where he's at. It's not so much fun knowing how the country's run. Liberals, conservatives, House of Representatives. Are you right? Are you left? Which way do you lean? Who knows what the hell does that even mean?
Welcome to POV America with your host, Brian.
Hey guys, how's it going tonight? Well, let me see if I can get this all working for you tonight. I've been trying to play with this overlay, and I got a lot of dropped frames, and I can't figure this out for the life of me. I've got a good internet connection for you, and I've got everything, but ever since I've redone this overlay, it seems that I'm dropping frames right and left, so we're going to try and get by it tonight as much as possible. I've got just a lot of tweaks that I'm still trying to do, but I wanted to make sure I at least got it. I'm already running a half hour late, so I apologize, but I want it to be right, and I'll tell you what, it's one of those things that really starts to tick you off after a while, because I know as these frames are missed, the stream becomes very choppy, very hard to read, or hard to watch, and I'm actually watching it on a different monitor, and I can see how choppy this is. And I don't know why it's doing this. So I'm going to have to figure this out, guys. You know, I had actually some things here to plan that I wanted to actually take a look at, but for whatever reason, this is just going to be one of those nights that just kills me here if I can't. Because I hate to over-obsess on these things, but boy, I'll tell you what I do. I obsess. If I can't find out why this is doing this, it's going to drive me nuts. So let me go over here real quick. And some of the changes that I made actually didn't take either. So you know, look at these here. Doggone it. Yeah, I thought for sure I would be able to get all this completed before. Spent 2 days on it now, and I don't know why, but this is not coming out the way I want it. Well, I hate to obsess over it, but you know what? That's half the battle. It's just obsessing over this stuff. Let me go here. All right. So if we go to OBS Studio. Audio. What do I have on that sucker now? Background music. Let me see. I'm going to try here to see if I can make sure that this God, this is killing me. Yeah, this is. Apologize, guys. I've been trying to work on this stream the last couple days and just get these overlays and all this. I'm dropping frames right and left here, so I don't know why yet. So I'm going to try and figure it out over the next day or so. But I apologize. It kind of is what it is, I guess. I'm just going to have to kind of suffer through it until I get it all the way it's supposed to be. But hopefully it's not too choppy. I was actually going to see how it looks. But I'm not sure how it's gonna come across here. Hold on 1 second, and I'm gonna go here and just see if this actually helps. All right, well, at least one thing works. My mute button works, so that's good. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you for hanging in. I know this the last week or so has been a little bit choppy because I've been trying to tweak all this and add some new camera angles and kind of just. Matter of fact, I didn't even check to see if these things work. I mean, I have no. Let me see. Let's see. Can we do a side view? How does that work? Do we go the side view over here? All right. So I got a side view that works. That works over here. This one here. Then I've got what is this one here? This transition will be for the back. All right. That would be this one here. However, I see that This one here would have to, that's the, there we go. All right, well, they at least halfway decent there, so I can't complain too much about that. At least the angles work, but I'd really feel better if it wasn't so many dropped frames. So I see, how am I looking now? It doesn't look like I have dropped frames. So hopefully this is coming across. I mean, I wish I knew if, matter of fact, you know what, if you guys are, if you're on and you're kind of checking this out, do me a favor, just shoot me a chat or something. Just let me know, am I coming over smoother or is it choppy? Am I having more lag, more dropped frames? That's kind of what I'm trying to prevent. I want to make sure that this stream at least looks halfway decent when it comes across without being choppy. And I can't really tell because I'm not, you know, not watching myself on there, which I guess I could probably do that, but nah, I'm not going to. I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can let me open up my, there we go. So you're fine. So that, oh, okay, Dr. Apple 94. Thank you. I appreciate you. You're not, it's not choppy or anything, and that's, you know, that's what I really wanted to prevent. And to me, I see the dropped frames, so I just assume that it's becoming choppy on your end. But I'm glad if it's not. So I appreciate that. So, well, I am definitely the. Let me get rid of some of these backgrounds for you. We'll get rid of these back shots here. All right, so slowly but surely it's coming together. I'm a new streamer, as you guys know, so I'm just trying to make it to where it looks halfway decent. I've got, I'm learning about the lighting of my chroma key, so I've got, you know, I understand that. I would say about 8 out of 10 like drop frames occur every so often. Oh man, I hate to. I'll work on it. I'm pretty sure it's got something to do with the way I'm loading. I'm using. I went from from OBS to Streamlabs, from Streamlabs to Stream Elements. So it's got to have something to do with the way I'm loading my resources, my scenes, and my sources. So I'll play with it. I'll get better, I promise. It's just a matter of trying to get it all tweaked. But I think I've got enough of the a good idea of how it's actually coming together. So I appreciate everybody that's kind of hanging with me. I normally, for the last week or so, normally I do the morning drive and I do the afternoon drive on my way in and out of work. I've kind of slacked off the last week because I've got this congestion. I don't know what the hell this, probably allergies, I'd imagine. My daughter, I love having a daughter that works in the medical field because, you know, today I told her, or well, actually a few days ago on Facebook, I said something about, well, you know, about not feeling well. Today I get in the mail, I get this funky little thing that clips on your, I guess it clips on your finger. You know, it like clips on to take your oxygen level. So she sent me this, and then she sends me this, which is kind of cool. It's some kind of a cuff that goes around your wrist for blood pressure. And then some other little things. She said all I got to do is shoot my forehead with this, and it'll give me the. So like she sends me all this. She's and I got more stuff. I'll send you this and that. So she orders it. She gets it for really, really inexpensive compared to, you know, if you bought it in the store or whatnot. So like I kind of laughed because I just told her, I said, I'm just feeling bad, man. I don't know, I think it has something to do with my sleep. Apparently you're supposed to get decent sleep, but I get about 3 to 4 hours a night. That's pretty much all I do, and it's been that way since I got out of the Army. Ever since I got out of the military, it's just like sleep is really, it kind of seems like a waste of time. You just kind of lay there and you don't do anything. Nothing gets done, so it's very hard for me to shut down. So I'll lay there a lot of times, and I'll just lay there for forever before I can finally fall asleep. So I was, I actually have an appointment with my VA doctor Thursday because she's concerned that I'm not getting enough sleep. But I do. I mean, every now and then. Oh well, I appreciate you. I'm glad to serve. I did 8 years in the Army, 124th Military Intelligence. And no, it's not a contradiction in terms. And I did Desert Storm, so I did that, and I had a lot of fun. I mean, it was. Let me rephrase that. Wasn't a lot of fun. But it was definitely, I was proud to serve, so that was fun. That part was good, makes me feel good about it. But yeah, the VA, they're pretty proactive. When I told them I couldn't sleep, and they said, well, how long has that been going on? I said, let me see, I got out in like 94. So I said, pretty much ever since then, I don't do too much, but 3-4 hours, and it drives me crazy that I have to do that because I wake up and I just feel like it was such a waste of time. But I've kind of been trying to focus on it because everybody's telling me. As a matter of fact, I went out and bought a Fitbit, this Blaze, so it monitors my sleep patterns. It's actually, yeah, I'm trying to pay attention to all that stuff, and because everybody says it's important, so I'm like, all right, but I can feel it though. I can feel the rundown. You get kind of run down and kind of lethargic, and then I get this congestion. I never get the flu. I never get a flu shot. I haven't had any shots since I got out. I have a theory about that. I have a feeling that they had some kind of a, super, I would say a vaccine that basically boosted our immune system because I've never been sick since a day since I went in the military. Don't get the flu. I get this a little bit of congestion every now and then. And I think it may just be the allergy for these. I have a cat, my son's cat, around here somewhere. But so anyway, it is what it is. I mean, I try to stay healthy. For those of you guys have been watching, you know that January 1st is when I did my weigh-in. January 1st, I hit the 305 mark. Heaviest I've ever been my entire life. My entire life, that's the heaviest I've ever been, 305. It's 155 pounds more than I've ever been. So, but I went ahead and I changed my lifestyle a little bit, changed that. I dropped 30 pounds within that first month, so that was cool. I went from 305 to 274 in less than 30 days and felt great. I have never ate as much. I was eating constantly, boosted my metabolism, a lot of energy. So it was really a great thing to change my lifestyle a little bit. So that was really great for me. And I'm trying to do it to where my goal is to get down to 250. I figure if I can do 250, then I can go ahead and take it down to 190. I'll never get to where I was, but I'm definitely feeling better. My pants are a little bit looser. Even though in the morning, you get up, you get in the shower for work, and I kind of like, I like to do that. I still don't recognize me sometimes, but otherwise, it's not too bad. I know I have to get healthy. I know I got to lose some of the weight, but I did get my blood panel back. Let me see here. I did get the blood panel back from the VA today, and kind of looked at that to see my lab. Apparently, I'm okay, except for a couple little levels here and there that are off because of this, really. So, but yeah, I appreciate you guys for hanging in with me while I get everything going here and I'm trying to build a following. I'm new to the YouTube, new to all this. I've been in IT forever. I worked on networks. My background is business technology and innovation. So I've got a bunch of global patents. I've got a lot of businesses that I've owned. I've had restaurants. I had a computer company with 8 stores. I mean, I really love technology and innovation. So I've done this for a long time. Never, ever thought of doing the live stream. My son kind of, says, yeah, you should do a live stream because I don't have the only hobby I used to have once upon a time. I used to love to play No Limit Hold'em. When I lived in Arizona, I'd play in Vegas all the time. We'd go to Vegas. I'd play the World Series of Poker every year, tournaments. It just had a lot of fun. But here in Florida, we moved from Arizona to Georgia to take care of my wife's father, and he got better, and now we're in Florida. I don't know, Doc Apple 94, don't know where you're from. I don't know if you're in the U.S. or whatever, but in Florida, that's where I'm at. I have lived in a lot of states. This state is something totally, they got this stuff that it just hangs in the air. It's humidity. They have this stuff called humidity. I do out here. I play in the local tournaments. I've come in first a lot of time, but you're only playing against 100 people, 120 people. My brother and I played in the LA Poker Classic once. Had over 300 total, buy-ins and everything. So it was about 3,000 people. I came in 78th. They started paying at 74th. So that was the deepest run I had. World Series of Poker, I would always go play every year, but what I would do is I'd go and sit down you sit down at a single table and you win your entry by playing I'd play a $100 table, and I'd beat that table, and I'd take the $1,000 to another $1,000 table, beat that table, then you take the $10,000 to buy your entry. So I'd always step up. I never would. My wife She, even though we've been married 30 years, she would not let. If I told her I was going to spend 10 grand or whatever on, that would not be good. That would not work for her. Would not work for me. She tolerates a lot as it is. I'm childish, juvenile, immature. She deals with all of that great. For 30 years, she's hung around for some reason. God knows it ain't the money, it ain't the looks. So my grandparents live in Florida, so I go down every Thanksgiving. But see, I don't know. I'm from Detroit originally. I'm from Michigan, so I'm used to I understand what a wind chill factor is when it's 40, 50 below zero. Of course, this is a body not built by salads. So, you cut me, I bleed mayonnaise. I have my own layer of insulation. So I prefer the cold, actually. Now, Arizona, I thought I would hate when I moved there. Because everybody was telling me how bad Arizona was. But I'm going to tell you what, I would have moved there 10 years earlier if I knew what it was really like. No humidity. We don't have a lot of the things they have here. What are they called? The things you put saddles and you can ride them. Mosquitoes. Yeah, they got these mosquitoes here that are like everywhere, and they carry like Zika, West Nile. I mean, they come up with new things to carry in these mosquitoes every year. You hate the cold, rid of the Sunbelt, post college. Now, move to Arizona. I'm going to tell you what. If you're going to go somewhere, it's not hot. I mean, it's a dry heat. It really is. You don't sweat. You don't get out of the shower and just be dripping sweat. If it's 110 degrees, that's about the same as being 99 degrees here in Florida with all the humidity. It's really not bad at all. I mean, I was very surprised for a big, heavy guy. I just don't like to sweat, but I get out to Arizona, and I'm going to tell you, blue skies, sunshine every day. You're 4.5 hours from any place you want. You want to go to Vegas? 4.5 hours. You're in Vegas. You want to go to LA? You want to go to Malibu? You want to go to San Diego? 4.5 hours. It's the only place I've ever been where you can actually, it's cool. You can actually get up in the morning. So anywhere warm, it's high salaries. Oh man, salaries are great in Phoenix if you're in the tech field or medical, dental, anything like that. Great salaries out there. And the cool part about it is, if you like swimming, you have to have a pool. I think it's a law in Arizona. You have to have a pool. I don't think you can buy a house or rent a place without a pool. It's just like everybody has them. But we had one. And the cool part was you can actually, if you want, you can get up in the morning, go swimming in your swimming pool, jump in the car, drive 2 hours. And in 2 hours, you can go ahead and you'll be in Flagstaff. And you can go ahead and you can snow ski, you can toboggan, you can, get your fill of the snow, snowmobiling, whatever. And then you can drive 2 more hours home and go swimming again in the pool. It's got now there's things that, I lived there for a better part of a decade, but I never really, never went to the Grand Canyon, seen pictures of them, flew over it. Never went to the Grand Canyon, never went to, Tombstone or the Meteor Crater, all these other great things that they have in Arizona. But I got to be everywhere else. I spent I was in 7-8 days, 7-8 days a month in Vegas, so it was pretty fun. Oh yeah, taxes aren't bad. They're not great. I'm actually thinking about moving to Vegas. My wife and I were talking the other day. This has been fun. I live on, I don't know if you a little while back, Hurricane Michael. If you watch the Hurricane Michael as it comes in, it was October, like 12th, I think it was, something like that, 10th. But it came in and, Florida has 0. That's kind of why we're looking at Vegas, because Vegas is the same thing, it has 0. But we live right on the water. If I walk out my front door, I can actually walk, and in about 60 feet, I hit the Gulf of Mexico. So that hurricane that came in just kind of smashed into our house here, well, right where we are. But we kind of dodged a bullet. We didn't get as bad as a lot of places out here got. But yeah, Vegas is kind of where the taxes are to advantage as well. So, but the thing is, here in Florida, even though they don't have income taxes, everything else is high. I mean, everything here is high. If I go to buy a 2-liter of soda, it's $2. It's $1.99 for a 2-liter. I could get that for 99 cents back in Arizona. It's the weirdest thing. It's like they give you a break on taxes, but everything else is expensive. You want to pay for your gas. Like right now, gas. My brother tells me gas in Arizona much cheaper. Here it's around two. I put it in the other day, 246, I think, or something like that. Now it might be higher. New Jersey's probably higher, I would imagine, gas wise. But I don't know. You got to take the good with the bad. Here you have Disney. You've got Epcot. What is it? Disney, Epcot. You got a bunch of stuff that you can do here, but other than that, man, that's about it. One of the guys that I watch, matter of fact, I watch on Twitch all the time, Barnacles. Jerry's, he lives in, I think, California. Or I'm pretty sure California. I don't know. The other day he said they were having snow, so I can't remember. I used to watch him years ago, but I think he lives in Northern California or something, and they had snow. So as much as I wanted to go to California, I kind of talked myself out of that years ago. So you kind of got to find some place that has the weather, the tax advantages, and all that. And so far, Vegas and Arizona are close. California, I can't. New Jersey, are you in New Jersey? Yeah, you said better than New Jersey. Yeah, see, now I can't imagine living in Jersey. I've been to New York many times, and I actually made a mistake and drove through New Jersey. I don't know. I don't think I could do that. The traffic, it's not as bad as California, but it's not good either. I mean, it was New York is a different type of a place. I liked visiting. I enjoyed going down the Broadway and the lights and all that in New York. And we went to a place that had steak in New Jersey. A special. They actually told us, hey, you've got to go to this place. You got to go under this bridge. They gave us directions to the steak place. And I will say, I wish I could remember the name of it, but it was awesome. It was probably one of the best steaks I've ever had. It was better than I've had Morton's, and it was actually much better. It was really good. But yeah, those are areas of the country what's the word? Too populated for me. So many people in just such a small area. Very diverse. I will say that. I mean, the lady that we at the hotel I stayed at the time I worked for a company called Deutsche Post. They were, and they would send me out to work on systems out there, and I was staying matter of fact, I was staying right next to the Empire State Building. There's a Crown Plaza that's there, and that was the one nice thing about working for the company. We could stay wherever we wanted, and they would put us up there. So I was staying at the Crown Plaza that was there, and it was really an interesting visit because there was a lot of folks that I always hear the comedians on television, and I hear the people talk about the stereotypes of people in New York, and yeah, New York was definitely it was every bit fit right in there. I mean, if you have more than 6 inches between you and the car in front of you, you have people leaning on the horn behind you, yelling out the window, telling you to pull forward, and you're like, you got like 6 inches between you and the car in front of you. You're like, well, where do you want me to go? So, but yeah, I got to do a lot of travel, so that was definitely a lot of experiences out that way. But the cold, one time I was out in New York, New Jersey area when it was winter, but it wasn't a bit. I was either too early or after it. So sounds like the parking lot at school. Yeah, it probably is. If ever how everybody's coming at the same time, they all come in and they all want to sit there and honk. And I mean, it was yeah. I mean, I'm not big. I'd rather have a motorcycle. And I don't think that's like in Arizona. I had a bike, I had a motorcycle, and I drive that sucker everywhere. Loved it. Driving in a car in congestion with especially like even in Florida, people get hit and killed here because everybody's like, I think they're like, everybody in Florida is around 90 years old or 100. I think matter of fact, I think it's a law. You hit a certain age and the government makes you move to Florida. And so I don't know if that's true or not, but I mean, it must be because everybody here, they're slow. They get in their cars and they just, or they're either too slow, or they're lunatics, and have no business having a driver's license. So, yeah, it's definitely a lot different. So, let me see here. So is it still now? See, now I'm looking at my lag. It says I'm lagging about 16%. Is it still coming in okay, or is it starting to be choppy? Yeah, because when I look at here, yeah, boy. I don't know. Maybe it's still looking good, I guess. Yeah, my grandpa just went through the reevaluation. You have no idea how he's still licensed. I'm telling you, it's like a rite of passage. Once you get over the age of like 400, 300 years old, they don't even want. I think it's just out of fear. They don't want to take your license away because they fear that you'll kind of snap or something. So they just let you have it. But yeah, the older you get, the more creative you become as a driver. I guess that's probably the best way to say it. The more creative you become as a driver. So, oh, that's funny. So anyway, yeah, I have, the only downside about here is, like I said, getting a driver's license out here for motorcycles is a little bit different. There it was simple. You'll see creative. Yeah, 2:30 is probably everybody trying to get the hell out. That would be my guess is they're trying to get out. At 2:30, that's kind of how it is where I work. I actually work at a prison, and about 3:30 in the afternoon at the prison, bam. I mean, everybody. It's a fight to get out. Everybody wants to get out of there. Well, not the inmates. The inmates are locked. They're in cells, but all the people that work there, the officers and I'm an instructor, so I mean, at 3:30, we all bail. We're out of there. I mean, by 3:31, it's a line of cars. I mean, it's just like nobody wants to even be, nobody wants to be near the place at 3:31. So I can relate to that. So it's definitely so that's not let me see. Are you now? You said you're post college, so you're thinking of moving somewhere after college? Are you in college now? Are you high school, college, or are you going to college? Just curious. I mean, and if you are, what are you going for? What is your major going to be? Okay, what are you going to major in? I mean, have you figured it out? Because I still haven't figured out what I want to be when I grow up, and I'm already there. So, what do you? Now, the hint could be in your name. Oh, economics or law school. I actually took my LSATs. I was going to be a lawyer. I actually took my LSATs, did awesome. I mean, literally, they actually contacted me and they were like, "You have blown these away," or are you interested in going? I thought about it. I actually I went into broadcast. I was an executive producer in Detroit for a while, but I went into broadcasting, radio, television broadcasting, and they wanted to. Had me go to law school. As a matter of fact, it was in, I think the law school was here in Florida. But I actually had to, as I started doing more research about the legal field, it just wasn't for me. There's some people that are happy. Now, like if I was going to be, let's say, a prosecutor or a defender, defense attorney, either a prosecutor or a defense attorney. If I would have focused there, I probably would have stayed in it. But I was actually time going through. I was in business. I was more in business, so I was looking at contract law, and it was all about loopholes. And I just kind of went, I don't know if I could do that for 20 years or 30 years. And I know a lot of people. I have friends of mine. Matter of fact, one of the guys I grew up with. He's an actual attorney. He's a professor, teaches at a law school now. But, it's just something I don't think that I would be able to, like being a CPA or an accountant. Being a debater would be good because that's kind of, when you're a defense attorney, you're a prosecutor. It's very much, as a matter of fact, one of the classes I had to take, which you'll probably take, it was a philosophy class called Logic. And what it was is they teach you how to prove or disprove statements using like De Morgan's theorem and these other. So it was really geared for attorneys. It's how you can actually read statements and know how to analyze those statements, whether they're true or false. So it was a pretty cool class. But otherwise, it just I would much rather have been, like I said, if I wouldn't have gone into the contract side at the beginning, I would have definitely. You preferred corporate because you like the loopholes and stuff. Yeah, well, you know what? That's kind of what, if you look at prosecution and defense attorneys, that's it's all about loopholes. Look at what was the guy? God, probably before your time. He was a guy that stabbed his wife and daughter, or his wife and somebody else, some celebrity, Simpson, O.J. Simpson. There's a guy that had, that was one loophole after another they were trying to find, so they got the guy off. So, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it does not. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. I think that was the line. But yeah, it was, and that was all about. If you ever watched, I watched that whole thing from beginning to end, and I kind of went, it was just one bad loophole after another, and I kind of went, wow. I said, this guy's gonna walk, and he did. He got off scot-free. And there's a lot of there's a lot of loopholes in the law, period. So I guess it really doesn't matter whether you're going into contract law, corporate, finance law. They look for the loopholes to get you the tax breaks. It really, I guess it doesn't really matter. It's all about loopholes. Johnny Cochran, yeah, I can't remember all the people that were in there. It was like Johnny Cochran, some other guy that had a leather jacket with tassels, who was kind of like a Daniel Boone type guy. Bernie Sheck, I think, was one of Shapiro. Maybe that was the guy. Yeah, there was. Like I said, it was. I hate even going back that far because it ages me, and I'm like, wow, I actually watched that on TV. But yeah, But those are I don't, they still have court TV. I don't watch a ton of TV. Dershowitz, yeah, Kardashian, one of the Kardashians, yeah. And who was the lady, the prosecuting, Marla, what was her name? Can't remember her name, but she was one of the prosecuting attorneys. But she was actually kind of funny too. But yeah, I used to love watching that show, where they actually had the trials, and they would actually, court TV, I think it was called, where you could actually, Marsha Clark. I knew it started with an M, Martha, whatever, Marsha. But yeah, I mean, I'd watch a lot of those, the court shows, and that was actually a lot of fun. I mean, that was actually, for me, it was pretty cool, because I really enjoyed watching not just the Q&As, when they would get them on the stand. And I mean, this is going to be sad. You're going to laugh. But even today, as ridiculous as it is, and as unbelievable as it is, I still enjoy watching Judge Judy. Now, I know what you're thinking. She's not a real judge, but she plays a judge on TV. No, I think she was a judge, but she's not in the true sense. She's not a practicing judge other than on the television show. She is. See, you agree. She's hilarious because she gets it. She gets it. I think that's kind of, she's an arbitrator now. Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, I know she made like $1 trillion doing her Judge Judy, and I would watch that show just because she would look at somebody and she'd go, "You, sir, are an idiot," and I'd be like, you can't say that. Oh, wait, she's the judge. She can say that. It was just so funny, but that's really truly how these people, when you'd watch them trying to defend themselves on things, and I enjoyed the show. So it was, and then they had another one, Judge Joe Brown. Then they had Judge Mathis. I used to love watching those shows, man. She does, and that's one of the things that I think that's kind of why people started really, really engaging in watching the show, because she really does. When you are an idiot, and she doesn't hesitate to call you an idiot. And if you piss her off, she doesn't hesitate to slap it to you good. I mean, that's kind of why I enjoyed watching the show. I was like, you know what? Yes, it's true. It's absolutely true. It's not real lawyer TV. It's not like, the trial lawyers, but it still was awesome. So I used to watch all those law shows and judge shows, and but even today, I still, if I catch one on or a rerun, I'll watch it, and I'll be clicking through channels, and if I hit, I like, oh yeah, sports, yeah, football, hockey. Oh, Judge Judy, yeah, that's cool. And I watch Judge Judy. Being from Detroit, you'd think I'd watch like the Red Wings, which I do actually. I still watch some of the sports. I love hockey, but don't watch it nowhere near as much as I used to. But yeah, it was actually really most of the television I watch now. Matter of fact, boy, I can't even think. You know what? I really can't even think of a lot of the television that's on now. I mean, The Big Bang Theory. I watched The Big Bang Theory. What a Blacklist, The Blacklist. I just watch a few shows. I'm waiting for the Game of Thrones. I think they're finishing it up, or that last season's coming up. But I don't watch too much television. I just don't. I mean, I haven't for quite some time. I just it's kind of like it's like surfing the websites. I used to surf websites a lot, and I'd go. But most of the time, there's so much bad news on these things. Almost every single... I mean, it doesn't matter what website you go to. If it's a news site, all that's on there is bad news. Today I clicked on one, and I literally just clicked on it, and it was White Collar. I had actually seen a couple episodes of that. What was the other one I watched? White Collar and Burn Notice. There's a few of them that and I just started watching another one, a series called Designated Survivor. There's a few that I'll watch. Here's where my dilemma is. I end up watching these shows, and you get involved with them, and then they end them after like 2 seasons or 3. They're done with them, and they'll cancel them and move on to something else. They did that with all the Marvel. I don't know if you ever watch like the Green Arrow or Flash or Nick Cage or Jessica Jones, or if you've ever watched any of those, they're great to get into, but as soon as you start getting into them, I think Netflix just like dumped a bunch of them. They just got rid of a bunch of them. So it's kind of like I'm so apprehensive now when I watch a show, I almost don't want to start watching it until it's got at least 5 seasons. Once you've got 5 seasons in, if you've got 5 seasons into Disney canceled their contract, yeah. Well, I know Netflix dropped them. I don't know if Disney canceled them, but they were great series if you were watching them. But I can't invest my time into something that is just going to end in a season or 2. So, oh, yeah, Arrow, I know. Arrow was still on. Actually, the last Arrow I saw, God, let me think. What was the last one? He was in jail. He was, and Flash, I haven't seen. Actually, when I started watching The Arrow, I stopped watching Flash. But they have a lot of crossovers. So, a lot of matter of fact, they're starting to cross it over with Supergirl, and they're starting to do a lot of the crossovers. So, when I have time, I will actually go and try and catch up on. I do the binge watching when I have a day or so. I'll go to binge watch if there's nothing out at the theater. I see a lot of movies at the theater. I went out and seen. I saw Aquaman. I've seen. I'll go out and I'll see a bunch of. As soon as they come out, if they come out on Friday, I'll usually go see them like 3 or 4 of them on Saturday, or maybe a couple on Saturday, a couple on Sunday. Disney took the rights back on all their Netflix stuff. Yeah, and that's probably because that's their franchise now. So now you're going to start seeing them all. I don't know if you saw the preview. They just did a preview for what was it called? Captain Marvel. They did a preview for Captain Marvel. They've also done they have a John. I don't know if you've ever seen one called John Wick. It's not like it's not really a Marvel. It's more of it's got Keanu Reeves in it. They had John Wick 1 and 2. Awesome. I mean, if you like action, movies are awesome. Now that I didn't know they're doing their own streaming service. I just figured that they were pulling them in to do their own franchise. But of course, they've got enough property. They've got enough property to actually do John Wick. Yeah, see, I'm a huge John Wick fan too. I mean, it's it's not for everybody. There's a lot of action, a lot of fight scenes, but it's it's actually one of my favorites. John Wick 1 and 2 were great. John Wick 3 looks even better. But yeah, I can see Disney doing their own streaming service simply because they've got all. Jack Reacher, Lee Childs did the book. Okay, the books. The Jack Reacher books I enjoy. I've read probably a handful of them. They're good. When I saw Tom Cruise, if you the character in the book is big, I mean, different. Tom Cruise is like 5'7", 8. I don't know. He's not a tall guy, so he didn't really fit my impression of Jack Reacher and what he should look like. But I will say that I did enjoy it. I mean, I actually enjoyed the first one. The second one, but it's Tom Cruise is kind of hit and miss. I mean, like you like him in Top Gun. I liked him in Top Gun. I liked him in Rain Man. Other ones, Kill Bills were awesome. All the Kill Bills were great. Quentin Tarantino, he rocks. He's actually, I'll tell you what, I don't know if you've ever seen Pulp Fiction. Now, when I first saw that movie, I didn't get it. It was like jumping around. I actually I made a point of going to watch it again. I said, you know what? I got to watch this again and figure out what I'm missing. And then all of a sudden, the second time I watched it, it kind of made sense. Okay, what was in the briefcase? Was it a gold bar or what? And then I finally started putting all the little pieces together. Oh no, that's Marcelo Wallace's soul. His soul was in the briefcase. It was stolen by he made a deal with the devil. These guys got it back from the devil. All of a sudden I kind of started making sense of what the message was. So I normally love classics, but I couldn't get through it. Yeah, there's some of them, man. Some of them are hard to get through. You've got to really be. I'm a huge movie buff, movies, and I've even started to watch the classics. I mean, I've went back and watched Casablanca and these ones that were way before I was born. But they're classics, and there are a lot of those I've actually. And I'll be honest, some of the movies today are nowhere near as good as the classics were. I don't know. It's like Willy Wonka. They do all these things called reboots today. Everything's a reboot. Man, they're going to reboot this, reboot that. And you know what? I'm just not a big fan of reboots. That's just me personally. They've tried it. Double and Deadly. Yeah, it's best. They did it with. They tried to do a remake of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So they gave the part to Johnny Depp. Terrible compared to the original, man. You see the original with Gene Wilder, that is the one to watch. But they've tried to do these remakes of classics that you just can't. They remade. You ever see one called Total Recall? The original with Schwarzenegger. Yeah. See, Gene Wilder is Willy Wonka. There's no way around it. But if you've seen like the original, like Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger, they tried to remake it with somebody else, and you're like, and same thing with, Total Recall was great. He did another one that was actually pretty good, which I saw a couple months ago, called was it called The Sixth Day or something like that? It's like the sixth day or the seventh day, or it's referring to it had to do with cloning people. It was actually a really good one, but. There's a lot of these reboots that they do. They do Spider-Man over and over and over and over. And it's like, you know what? I'm so tired of reboots because it's just like for my money. It's like, okay, you want it by $12. Let me just give you the $12. Hit me in the head and then just let me go, So, all right, see, now this is the drop rates, the frame rates. So let me know if you see this getting choppy again. I'm going to try and reset this so I can kind of track it. But this is I apologize about this. I'm still trying to tweak this stream and find out exactly what's causing the choppiness. So, anyway. Yeah, see, so for some reason now, I was doing it fine for a while. Some of the newer 007s are, I'm a fan of the 007s back when Sean Connery did them. I've went back. There were a lot of those. Roger Moore, Sean Connery, a lot of those were before my time, or they're not, even if they were in my time, I didn't really get to watch them when they came out, but I've watched them since, and I kind of actually like the newer. I actually like the newer 007s. Maybe it's the special effects, maybe it's the graphics, but there's a such thing as too much CGI. Like when I went and seen Aquaman, I was really expecting this great movie, and at best it was mediocre. I mean, out of a scale from 1 to 10, I would give it a 7, maybe a 7.5. Way too much CGI. You know, Batman's were, yeah, the newer ones were good with Christian. Are you talking about the one with Christian Bale, where he was the dark, kind of the darker Batman? You know, those are the ones I like. I didn't care for the one with Affleck as much. I like the ones where he was actually the Dark Knight. You know. Let me go ahead and reset this. So yeah, those were the Batmans were cool. Now what was the other one I watched? Scarface '83. Oh, that was the one. Who was in that? Pacino? Was that the one with Pacino in it? Al Pacino? That was good. What was the one I watched? There was one that I watched called No Country for Old Men, which was really a surprising one. I'll be honest with you, because very few of the movies you watch today does the bad guy get away, I mean, scot-free. And that was just one that kind of took me by surprise when I watched it. I went, oh, didn't see that coming, you know. So you kind of expect, most of them have a common theme, you know. If it's a romantic comedy, it's boy meets girl, boy loses girl, boy gets girl back, or vice versa. But, you know, most of them have bad guy dies in the end. That seems to be the theme of a lot of them. But what was the one I just saw the other day? It was called Alita. Alita? Yeah. And it was actually really good. I actually liked it better than better than Aquaman. It was actually good. Gotta have my Mountain Dew. Caffeine. Oh. So that's cool. Well, yeah, there's a couple coming out that I want to go see, but it's probably, I would say they'll be out. Let me see, what were they? Are they out this Friday? No, they're not. Let me see what we got. No, they're not out this Friday. But there's one called Fighting with My Family. That's what I want to actually go see. That looks funny. Then there's a Medea one, Medea Family Funeral. You know what? I have not watched any of the Medeas. I don't know if they're worth watching or not. I like Tyler Perry, some of his movies, but most of the Medeas, I think I might have seen one. That's about it. So, anyway, yeah, there's my brother and I used to actually. Oh, I did see the Lego movie. The Lego movie was cool too. Yeah, the Alita ones. Yeah, well, dude, I'm telling you, the movies used to be cheap. Now they do have a dollar cinema here, where like you can usually see the releases about 3 weeks to a month after they've been released. They go to the dollar cinema, and occasionally I'll go there but if I go to a movie, like it's $12. I don't know what it is where you are. It's $12.50 just for the movie ticket. You go in to get a large soda, it's $6.50 for a soda, and it's $8.50 for a bucket of popcorn. So you've got $8.50, $6.50, and $12.50 just for one person to go see a movie here. I mean, I don't know what it's like where you are, but it's probably, I would say, comparable. It's probably right around the same amount. But yeah, it adds up. It really adds up. Now, they do have if you get a chance, $13 for a ticket, but $8.50 for matinee. Well, $8.50 is not bad. But $13, yeah, so it's roughly the same thing as I hear. Now, if you go, there is a website. If you get a chance to check this out, there's a website called Movie Pass. I think it's called MoviePass.com. One of the ladies at the movie theater told me about it, and it's where you can pay like $10 a month and see all the movies you want, something like that. It's something. It's like a membership club. So when a new release comes out or when something comes out, for $10 a month, you can actually. They made it way worse. It has a limit now. Oh, okay. See, now I know at first I didn't think they had a limit. At first I thought it was like pay a certain amount and you can see all the movies you want. And I figured he'd go bankrupt doing that. So that tells me they're probably having some financial troubles because it's a non-sustainable model if you ask me. But yeah. See, I don't know. See, I haven't looked at it. Oh, let me see. I'm still dropping these frames, man. This just kills me. Here we go. We're taking a look. I wonder why. Even at $10 a month is too much. Yeah, I know. Are you one of those guys in school that are working too? Do you work full time and go to school full time, or are you just focusing on the school? That's I did both. When I was a freshman, it was pretty much school. Sophomore was school, but then after that, it was like I got a job, so I had some money. So just kind of depends. But I didn't spend as much time in school as I probably should have. I was prone to taking a vacation day every now and then. You do accounting on the side. All right, so you got something going on. That's kind of what it was the same thing with me. I had to have something on the side where I'd make some money. But I'm saving for college. Yeah, when you go to college, are you going to actually stay at a college, or are you going to stay at home and just go to college? Because I know some of them have grants and loans you can get in, but if you can stay at home, I'd do it that way. My son right now he's at home. He's going to school and working full time. He's an officer. He's a deputy officer, but still going to school. So that's funny. Yeah. It's gotta be. It's like 3 hours away, so I'm gonna. Oh, you're gonna live there. All right. Let's see. Columbia is like 3 hours. So Columbia, see, when I went to college, it was like my first thought was I wanted to go to Harvard or I wanted to go to MIT. Those were my two original choices. Unfortunately, I didn't have the grades. I wasn't smart enough, and I didn't have the money. But other than that, those were my choices: Harvard or MIT. Now, years later, I've actually taken classes at MIT and that, but at the time, I was what's the best way to say it? I was a comfortable student. I wasn't, like even when I went to college, do you know how when you go to college, they expect you to have what is it called? A focus. They want you to focus on a career goal. They want you to know your major and your minor, and see, that wasn't me. When I went to college, I took the classes that I wanted to take. I mean, I took all my psychologies and the philosophies and history and English, but I took the classes that I wanted to take. So, unfortunately, they frown on that. They want to tell you what you need to take to go where you're focused, to get your degree and whatever. But because I had no focus and I really didn't really care about what degree I got, I just wanted to take the classes that interested me. That's not a good way to do it. Unfortunately, there's other ways. They want you to have a counselor. You have to have a counselor, and they call them a guidance counselor, so they'll give you guidance. See, had I listened back then, I might have a piece of paper today on the wall with a degree instead of hundreds of hours without, of hundreds of hours of credits and no degree. Columbia is a liberal arts school, So it's the opposite. You choose the courses, and the major comes next. Really? Well, I don't know if they could find a major that took me. I mean, I was so all over the board. Liberal learning. I like that. They don't. One of the things I will tell you. Now, this was my fault as much as it was anything because I didn't have a focus and I just took all these classes that I wanted to take. Had I to do over, I probably would have put them towards a degree or, but they wanted you to take, see now, when I was in school, when I was in high school, actually, when I was in high school, they wanted me to take algebra, calculus, trigonometry, geometry, all these tree classes, but they wanted me to take these classes, and I didn't want to take those because to me, math is adding, subtracting, dividing, multiplying, doing some fractions, percentages. That's all the math I needed to know. I wasn't going into biomed. I wasn't going to be a chemist, an architect, or an engineer. So a lot of this math, this higher level of math, I didn't want to have anything to do with it. I didn't need algebra. Now, I have used algebra probably a ton throughout my life, but I never knew it was algebra. I just kind of knew I was looking for X or I was looking for Y. But you see, I found out that in any degree, you have to have math. You got to learn math, and I'm gonna tell you, if you're not a math person, and it's not that I'm stupid. I'm just ignorant in that respect. I mean, it's just so the program of scholarship. I have 4 years of 4 years of Hebrew. What program in scholarship requires 4 years of Hebrew? Is that to be a lawyer? Pre-law? See, that's crazy. I can't even speak English well. I can't. The only language I learned some Spanish. Here we go. You ready? Taco, burrito, enchilada, nacho grande, tequila, chalupa, gordita, and you see how I roll my R's. I actually sound like I'm Spanish. So I can cuatro burrito. You got that little. So I think I speak Spanish. That's kind of, hey, vato, man, what you doing, man? You come to me. So, I kind of think that I speak Spanish, but reality, nah, I don't. But Spanish is something that I know the main lingo. When I go through Taco Bell, I can get through and I say, hey, four Taco Bell grandes. So I like half ride for Hebrew education. I can't. I had a friend of mine. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna go out on a limb. Could it be that maybe Jewish by chance? Are you Jewish? Taking Hebrew? Just thought. I'm just kind of off the top of my head. I had a friend of mine that was Jewish, and it sounds like what he was telling me. He had to take all this Hebrew in school, and I think that's the language that does it go left to right, or does it go left to right, or there's something about how you read it? Am I thinking of the right language? Because I'm sure it's not the only one. Yeah, okay. He was telling me, and he would come and it was so funny because his dad would get on him all the time. I mean, I had a computer company in Michigan, and we had a bunch of computer stores, and he would come hang out. At that time we did a lot of gaming. We'd play a lot of games, but he would hang out and we would order pizza. And he would order pepperoni pizza, ham pizza, and you're not supposed, I'm telling you, you're not supposed to eat that, And so his dad came one time, came into the store, right? We were in the back, all these pizza boxes, pizza. His dad walks in, and the look on his face was just like sheer horror. He's like, and his dad walks over. We were all expecting, oh my God, it's oh, whoa, man, this is gonna be terrible. His dad walks over, opens a pizza box, looks in it, grabs a piece of pizza, starts eating it, and goes, "You don't tell your mother anything," And I was just like, oh, that's a cool dad, But yeah, I have a lot of respect. If you can learn that language, man, I play with languages a little bit. I learned, I say 4 years of Hebrew for 100,000 of tuition. Yeah, I would do it too. That's like, I learned Izviniche, vypnamiche paruski, da dolka немного. I learned some Russian. I can pick up languages and learn languages if I want, but I think that I have another friend of mine I went to school with is a polyglot. I don't know how many languages he speaks, but he'd always tell me, he says, "Oh, if you can speak one, you can speak another. Once you know how they all kind of tie together, they come natural." And I'm like, no, they don't just come natural. Maybe you can hit a baseball if you have never picked up a bat. Maybe you have a natural tendency to hit a baseball. Maybe you have a natural tendency to dribble a basketball. You just don't have a natural tendency to pick up languages because they all have a common thread. Like he tells me, and I'm like, but he can speak French, he can speak Italian, all these different languages, and and he's like, you don't speak any other language? I'm like, no, look, but we're kind of similar because, he speaks Italian, I eat Italian, so, we got that going for us. 40% of my first, Latin, Egyptian hieroglyphic and Latin. Hieroglyphics and Latin. Let me think, how would I bring that up in a conversation with a girl? Hey, gee, Becky, maybe we'd go out to the movies and something, or maybe we'll just go over to the pyramids and read some hieroglyphics together. I don't know. I was branded a geek because I liked computers and technology when I was in school, but something tells me that if you're into hieroglyphics and Latin, you're destined to be alone for the rest of your life. I mean, that's just me personally. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe today things change. Maybe chicks dig that. Maybe they like that. Oh, he's a nerd. See, I've already asked and answered that question. So that's it. He's a nerd. And sometimes nerds are just destined to be nerds. That's kind of what we are, So that's funny. Hieroglyphics. It looks like two guys, and that looks like a bull, and this must be a gazelle. And look, they're running with spears. I'm kind of lost on all the hieroglyphics. So I'm sure there's a female studying hieroglyphs. She probably is. She probably got like a glass eye, maybe a wooden leg. She walks with a limp, make her little hieroglyph. Okay. That's bad. That's just that's not even funny. I don't even want to give you the satisfaction of laughing at that. So, oh gosh. Look what time it is. No. That was bad. Oh man. Oh, so no. I mean, that's I did a lot of geeky things when I was in school, mostly computer stuff, technology. That's kind of why I ended up where I'm at today, and I still don't know, like I was telling you earlier, I still don't know what I want to do. I mean, I'll figure it out eventually. I mean, it'll come to fruition one day. I'll figure it out. I'll be like, you know what? I'll figure something out. He's going to Princeton or Brown to study classics or something. Yeah, he's the life of the party. Okay. Should I ask his name? What's his? Is he got like a name like Marion or something like that, or Eli? I don't know. Oh man. So, what? I always wanted to ask. The cool. I think one of the best things about the internet is you have this sense of anonymity, right? Nobody knows anybody, so a lot of times you find yourself asking, or you're not afraid to say. I always wondered about the Jewish religion. As if he says an account for 30 years, but doesn't know what he wants to do, and a lot of people don't, and I always wondered. Now, his name is Michael or something. So now, are your whole family Jewish? Do you mind if I ask a question about the religion, the Jewish religion? Because I don't want to offend you by any means. But I always wondered this, and maybe you can answer it because. It was just a general question, but isn't it? Yeah, they're all Jews. Go ahead. Okay. What is it? Somebody? I can't remember what they said. It was only the first so many books like the Old Testament, or like there's only so many books that they consider. What is that? Is that the Torah? Is that like? Is there a certain amount of books or a certain point? Like when I pick up a King James Bible, and I'm assuming, actually, do they even use King James Bibles? But if is it just the Old Testament? Is that what the Jewish religion is? Okay, the first 5 books is the Old Testament. Now, is that basically all? They don't consider, like, if you're Jewish, you don't consider the New Testament legitimate, or is it just, are they just other books of the Bible? Do they recognize them as books of the Bible, or are they just, or do they only recognize like those first 5 books? Because somebody was telling me they don't. It's like they don't use the whole Bible, or they don't. And I never actually asked. I should have probably asked my friend that. I never. But I've always, you always kind of tread lightly when you talk about religion, because sometimes you talk religion and people become like fanatics. They become like, all, what do you mean you don't believe in God? Or what do you don't believe in? And they try to convert you, or they try to, I was like, wait a minute, I just was asking a question. I just wanted to know, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, the entire Jewish text. So that's it? Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. That's it. So is there anything? What is the rest of the stuff, or do they not even focus on that? Do they just simply say this is it? Well, with some interpretations. So any of the other stuff like Revelations or the New Testament, anything after those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those 5, that's all you got to learn? I always thought it was more. I always thought there was, I don't know, it always seemed like it was much more, I don't know, it seemed like you guys had more days off during school, you had more holidays, or those were all based on those 5 books, right? Or I'm assuming. Huh. See, you learn something new every day. I just, I never know. See, what is the word? I'm agnostic, is it? Or, well, there's a small, it's called Jews for Jesus, who recognize. Okay, so what is Jesus recognize? Isn't Jesus, no, Muhammad's a prophet. So Jesus was, he was a carpenter, right? Or he recognized Jesus as a prophet. But Jesus was Jesus was a carpenter, wasn't he? Or was his father, or was Joseph a carpenter? I thought it was Jesus that was a carpenter. Muhammad is Islam, but Muhammad was the prophet of Islam. Muhammad was, because it's Allah. Allah in Islam is their God, and Muhammad is their prophet, or their prophet, I guess. Yeah, I'm kind of agnostic. I've read the Bible, and I have my own views. I think it's a great book, but the prophet is one who speaks for God or with God. Oh, okay, kind of like Billy Graham, or no, that's not those guys, like Joel Osteen, T.D. Jakes. No, they don't speak for him or with him. I don't know. I never followed it that much. I mean, I've read it. I mean, it's an interesting book. Just too many questions that are unanswered in it for me. And do they actually, like, if you have a question, who do you go to? Because like do you have priests? No, you have rabbis. Jewish, they have rabbis. Aren't those like priests or pastors or teachers? Isn't that what rabbi does? What does rabbi mean? Does a rabbi mean teacher? Something like that. I wish I would have paid more attention in school. I actually had a class that they covered this. I think, I don't know if I was in that class all the time, but it was. But yeah, no, there was definitely. I think it was rabbi. Yeah. So who do you, like, when you have a question? Who do you go to? So Jesus cleansed the Christians of their sins, so they don't follow the rules of the Old Testament. What do you mean it cleansed them? Oh, I see. So because he died, they didn't have any more sins? Well, that's interesting. Rabbi equals priestish. Okay, so that's who you'd go. Like if you had a question, like um, um, Sodom and Gomorrah, is that in the part that is that in one of those books, those five? Like or is that see, I don't know what Sodom or is that New Testament? See, probably wish I would paid him more attention. Um, when he died, they don't have to follow the rules in the Old Testament. Really? But weren't the rules in the Old Testament the ones that had the 10? Didn't they have the 10 commandments? It wasn't the 10 suggestions or the 10 the 10 tips. I mean, it was like these commandments that he gave in the first books, right? I'm assuming that's Old Testament. So because he died, they no longer have to follow those 10, or is that they gotta follow? You know what? Good luck with Hebrew, because I tell you, I don't even understand the religions that are out there. There are six. I think you put 613. There's 10, right? I think you kind of mistyped. You put 613 instead of 10. So they're the Torah. Well, is the Torah the 5 books? Is that what they call that? I only counted 10. Oh no! Oh wait! Are you talking about all the things where they say you can't eat this with the cloven hoof, or this? Or all those other little rules, like you can't eat pork, and you can't do this, you can't do that. Are those considered commandments? Okay, the Torah is the first 5 books. Okay, so is the 613 and count all those little things that says you can't do this, can't do that, can't do this. Those rules are commandments. Okay, so that's what okay. So when he came to Moses, when God came to Moses and gave him the tablets, those were kind of like additions to the original 611. Is that kind of or the 600 and oh no, I'm sorry, it would be 600 and if it was a 10, 603. So Moses is the 3rd book. So they're just additional. Are those commandments lumped in with the first 613? And all 5. Okay. So all 5. Wow. And so the goal is, just make sure I understand this. The goal is, out of all those 613, don't do any of those. Right? Is that those 10 kind of stand alone? As special in some ways. Well, yeah, I mean they're kind of specific. Thou shalt not kill. You can't argue with that. That's kind of specific. Don't commit adultery. Yeah, that goes without saying. So yeah. So the whole idea though is the 613. Don't do those things or listen to those 613. Okay, yeah. I'm probably going to hell. I don't know. I mean, I have not yet. I don't know if I can memorize or remember 613. Can you remember 613? Really? I mean, can you remember those? How can you remember those? Jews don't believe in hell. Well, well, if you're... So what is there? There's only heaven and earth? So they have no fear. So why do you have to follow any of them if there's no hell? Because most are extrapolations from the first 10. Okay. You still lost me with the hell thing. So there's no hell. So if there's no hell and you have no fear of anything, then why worry about 613? Huh. See, I'm gonna have to go buy a book. I have to go. Do they have like Judaism for Dummies or whatever? Do they have like a book of dummies for dummies? The Jewish Religion for Dummies book? I'd have to. I'm an atheist. I don't want to understand the theology. Okay. See, yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm kind of agnostic. I mean, it's a great theory, and I kind of, I can appreciate it. I definitely, everybody's entitled to their view. Just a little confusing for me sometimes, so that's one of those things. Yeah, is it possible, and I'm just, just tossing this out here, is it possible that maybe religion in general, whether it was Christian religions, Lutheran, religion as a whole, could that have been something that was just kind of created by man to control the masses as people started growing? I mean, as emperors and pharaohs tried to control the masses, what better way to control the masses than to put a fear of a supreme being into them, a god that has volcanoes erupt, creates sandstorms in the desert, this all-powerful being to tell the masses that you're living evil and God's punishing you. I mean, is that possible? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? Like I said, religion is one of those things where you always want to tread lightly, because I don't know how many people are watching or who's watching. I don't want to get, you don't want to offend anybody, but at the same time, I think there's way too many unanswered questions than there are ever answered. Some people will tell you that the answer of everything is in that book. You pick up that book, you go through Proverbs, you go through all these different books, the Bible, all the answers for everything are in there. But I think there's more questions kind of in there than anything. But, I could be wrong. Maybe, it'll really suck if the day I die, I end up appearing at the gates and going, yeah, your name's not in the book up here. So, yeah, you're going to have to go down to hell. Then that'll suck. Then I'll be going, I should have believed more. I should have known. But I think that, like I said, there's more questions than answers. Don't get me wrong. And I think I like Judaism because you're always told to ask questions. Yeah, see, and now I'll give you an example. Here's one of my thought. And this is just, now when you think about, in general, everything, you look at, people say, well, there had to be intelligent design was involved in this. There has to be a God. That's kind of the premise. Every religion, whether it's, you talk about Islamic, you talk about Judaism, you talk about Catholics, the Catholicism, all the religions say this was all intelligent design. This was all put together by a supreme being. Now I'm okay with that. Now, I can wrap my arms around that. You want to say there's this all-powerful, all-knowing supreme being. I'm willing to take that leap with you. But here's how I figure it. And this is kind of, and I'll tell you, when you look at, and I'm a guy of science. Now, I'm a technology guy. I'm a computer guy. So every piece of software written, whether you're landing planes with it, boats are going across the ocean, satellites in space, you've got rovers on Mars that are beaming back pictures, you got satellites on the probes on the edge of our heliosphere beaming back data. But all of that technology is run by a simple code called binary, ones and zeros. It doesn't matter. I'm talking to you on Wi-Fi and wireless digital internet. All of this is controlled by software, which is nothing more than ones and zeros. So when I think of religion, and I think of technology and what we have here, I look at something as simple as the DNA. Well, I won't even say simple, but you look at the DNA strand, a strand of DNA. And now a strand of DNA is made up, literally, every living thing on this planet that depends on every other living thing, whether it's the fly, whether it's the frog that eats the fly or whatever, but every living thing has DNA, strands of DNA in it. And you look at the DNA, what is built up is 4 proteins. Now, think of that. Every living thing has 4 proteins. Just like every bit of technology is ones and zeros, imagine the proteins arranged in a certain order to create a dog, a cat, a person, a snail, a slug, whatever. Everything, it's just the way that those proteins are arranged in that DNA. So I look at it and I think, okay, if we can have computers and technology that's based on binary, why isn't it that life itself is nothing more than an extended version of binary? It's just an extended version, Great intelligence must be. Yeah, I agree with you on some part, but I mean, it's not like it's saying that. But think of how easy it is. Think of the things that we do today. Think of what at our infancy, what we're capable of. We can clone dogs and cats and sheep and horses. We can take babies in test tubes. We are creating and doing things that are godlike. And if everything was created by a intelligent, design, by intelligent design, it's not that this person has to be, who says it has to be one person or one, it could be one species, it could be one group of people that have the technology to take our strands of DNA, just like we're cloning, sheep and cats. If I've got a program that puts the DNA, the 4 proteins in your DNA strand together, then guess what? I can create anything. I can create any living thing if I have a computer big enough to put that data in. And think of how quick right now. Years ago, we could never do a DNA. I could send my DNA today and get a result back same day. It's amazing the stuff that the Beyonders be making new universes. I'm just saying, we talk about, and that's one of those things, like I said, religion is a really tough topic because you can offend people. And I'd say, look, I'm not going to begrudge you. If you want to say there's a supreme being, hey, that's fine. I'm good with that. You're entitled to that because I do think that intelligent design in some way is responsible for everything. I mean, I don't think that, people, an atheist, for example, the mentality of an atheist, you said you're an atheist, right? You said you're an atheist. Well, here's kind of what I always looked at an atheist and I thought, if I take this wristwatch off, if I take this off and I put it in a bag and I beat that bag with a hammer and bust this thing into a million pieces, an atheist basically says, but if you continue to shake that bag and you shake that bag and shake it for millions or billions of years, eventually you'll open it and that wristwatch will be back in a perfect working order because all it takes is time, for things to occur. And I don't know if I agree with that. I'm like, that's not going to work for me. I mean, to be able to put the strands of DNA together in that specific sequence where this life form depends on this life form and this life form depends on this one for survival and so on and so on and so on. I just find that would take way more than just shaking a bag of mix, if you will. I think it has to be some intelligent design. Oh, man. You like Thursdayism? What is Thursdayism? Is that kind of where it says Friday's right around the corner? Oh, do me a favor. I forgot to tell you. Do me a favor if you could. I'd appreciate it if you'd follow me. If you're on Twitch, if you're on Twitch and can follow, being a new streamer, I'm trying to build. Twitch has this thing where they got to build. They want you to have so many followers before you get to the next level, and you can do this and that. So it's a thought experiment about burden of proof. Okay, so is that kind of like saying prove it? Because I'm all about that. I'm the guy that says trust but verify. So I'm definitely I'm all about trust but verify. I tell that to people every day. People at my work, they tell me stuff and I go, yeah, that's great. I take it with a grain of salt, but working in a prison, you get told things by people all the time. Trust but verify. Basically, this theory is that the universe was designed last Thursday. Okay. I'm right there. No, actually, I don't. I don't get it at all. What do you mean? Is that like saying we keep recycling last week, or that exactly as it exists last Thursday? Sorry. Yeah, you lost me there. Um, I'm I'm kind of sure that I remember last Thursday and the Thursday before and the Thursday before. So I don't know if unless you're just saying we. Hold on. I hear cheering. I don't know if that's. Hang on. Sorry. I kind of hear. I hear this stuff in the background. I don't know if you can hear that. I don't know if you could hear that or not. But I heard this like yelling or like cheering, and I'm going, "What is that?" I actually thought I was telling you I watched Barnacles. There's a guy on here, Jerry, that I was kind of thinking that maybe it was something on his stream, but I don't see anything on there. No, he's nothing. A siren or something. Yeah, that's what I thought. Your memories of the world pictures and all of it instantaneously popped into existence last Thursday. Yeah, I'm gonna go with no on that one. I'll reach out to some of the other theories out there, but yeah, because I remember last Thursday and the Thursday before. So are you saying that my memories that come include previous memories of previous Thursdays? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, life's too short, man. Just can't be disproven. Well, I'm a huge conspiracy theorist, so there's things that people have, they tell like one person one time I had one streamer that he was talking about, and I'm not making this up. I couldn't even make this up if I wanted. This guy literally was trying to convince me that we had not been to to the moon, and he was trying to convince me, and I was like, well, you can see. There's a reflector on the moon. We can actually hit it with a laser. There's all kind. But no matter what you had, this guy would try and tell you you didn't. So, all of existence popped into the world simultaneously. It's just a useless theory. Well, you know what they say about theories. I guess everybody likes to have one. I have my own theory. I mean, you're here probably. I mean, let's say you're extremely blessed. Let's say you are like one of the luckiest people, and you're here for a total of 100 years. I mean, let's just say 100 years. My theory is this: the first 25 of those years don't count, because that's kind of your education. That's when you're just learning what you like, what you don't like, what you want to be, what you don't want to be. So those first 25 years are kind of like your educational years. Now, the last 25 years, let's say from 75 to 100, those don't really count either, because you're usually sucking soup through a straw, or those are your reflection years, the years you look back and try and reflect on everything you've done. It's the middle years that count. So, give me a heart attack. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Okay, that you're actually, that since doing this overlay thing, that's the first time nobody has de-virginized me yet. They have like goals, and you can get like followers, you can get bits, you can get tips, and all these things. So I set up all these stupid alerts, and I always joke. I'm like, well, one day somebody will de-virginize me, and I'll get they'll give me a bit. I guess you get bits on Twitch for watching something. Like if you watch commercials, you get bits or something, or they'll. So anyway, and I say, I get all these things, and somebody will do that one day, and it'll shock me. And whenever somebody does a follow, it's the same thing, and I'll jump almost every time. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate the follow. Twitch is kind of funny. They want you to have certain bits. Like I said, I think I watch, like I look at Barnacles all the time. I watch Barnacles. I watch other people on Twitch, and I watch their commercials. I don't have any bits. I have no idea if I'm doing it wrong, or if I'm supposed to. Maybe somebody was telling me you have to watch them early in the day, or when they because they only give so many bits out on the network for something, and I I don't know how it works yet. So I haven't been able to give, bits away either. And somebody told me on Mixer, I got a lot of folks who follow me on Mixer, and they said it's the same thing. They give these things called embers or sparks, and I'm still trying to figure all that out. But it's one of those things that eventually I'll get it all figured out between the different platforms, because it'll all kind of tie itself together. But yeah, I've got 3 bits, but. So we'll see. You can give bits to anybody. You can give bits to any. Your account isn't eligible for bits yet. Yeah, it is. You can. I'm pretty sure you can, because I have a bits goal. I think you can give. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can get bits. I've got 3 bits, but see, I don't know how to get the bits. I've watched commercials. And I still don't know. Let me see. Let me go to my. I'm actually. Now you got me wondering if I can even accept bits yet, because maybe I can't. Like the button isn't there. I'm not big enough. Oh, so maybe. Oh, wait a minute. So I didn't know that. Let me go to my. I'm going to actually go to my site here. I didn't know that This tells you how much I stream here. I actually don't even know how the heck this thing works. I really thought that you could give bits to anybody. So when I go to my channel, I can get right here. I can get bits. Oh, okay. So I can get bits, but can I give bits? Or do you have to be logged on? I think when you get X followers or to get to subs, I think it's like YouTube. You have to partner with Twitch. Oh, okay. So when I go on here. So like if I go to Jerry, let's say, okay, so right now, like when I'm watching the guy I usually watch, and I look down here. See, I can. So how do I give? Then how do you give bits? Now here's a guy that's got 70,000 followers, so I know there has to be a way. Huh. I don't know. See, I'll have to, next to the Dr. 1000, next to the emote button. Oh, okay, down here. Okay, I see. Down here on the in the chat menu. That's where you do the bits. Cheering supports your streamer. Oh, okay. So now on mine, so that's not. So are you saying that when you're in the chat and everything, I don't have that thing? That's not. Hopefully, that's not something that I have to configure, and I just haven't been doing it. Yeah, let me go take a look at my stream. I thought in the chat, when I looked at the chat, I see what you're talking about now. It says you can cheer, and that's how they'll get there. At least 500 total minutes broadcast in the last 30 days. Okay, and 7 days. That was 3 concurrent. It's 50. 50 followers. What do I got? Do I have many? Actually, I don't even know how many followers. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I really don't know how. I mean, I'd love to get enough followers. Being a new guy, being the new guy on the block, I have a whole new respect for these streams. When I watch Jerry, I watch Barnacles on here, and I'll watch these guys, and watch how they stream, and I have a whole new respect. Not just for how tough it is to put a stream together and actually get everything working just so, to really put together something that functions. And here, there's no bits button. Here we go. Oh yeah, see on mine I don't have that. So that's, at least I have to get 50. So you know what? If you're watching, man, do me a favor, follow me. I appreciate any of the follows. I'm still trying to work this out. I'll get it going eventually and just figure it. I do stream. I think I got the streaming in enough. I think I have total minutes enough because I stream every day on the way to work. 6:15 every morning, man, I'm streaming. 3:30 every afternoon, I'm usually streaming. And then at 7 o'clock Monday through Friday, I'm here. So I don't think the minutes isn't the problem. 7 unique broadcast days, that's not a problem. I do that. 3 concurrent viewers or more. That I don't know. I mean, I've got, I probably have actually, I don't know how many people are watching. I know at least 2 because you guys are chatting. So, but I could probably find out. But I mean, I appreciate it. I mean, this really, it's been a lot of fun putting it together, and I still haven't figured out any of the games. I wanted to do some games on. But I'll be honest, I don't have the temperament for it. I think that I'm big on the retro games. I can do probably retro games. I'll order a Super NES or something, one of the old ones. But I'm not big. 40. I have 40 followers. Okay, well, that's not too bad. So I'm 10 away. And I got 5 viewers. And if every viewer follows me, I'll be 45, So, but yeah, I tried Hitman 2. I actually bought that. But I'll tell you what, I don't have the temperament for it. And I don't think people want to see, guys throwing their remote controls at the TVs and that, because I spent hours and hours on that stupid game trying to get through just one, the very first mission, and it was just driving me nuts. And I go over and I watch other people. They're just they fly through the game. And I think what it is the gamers that are out there a lot of them do this they do it as a living. I never thought I would see where the people who could do this as a career and make a living out of it. I do it because it's kind of it's people are like angry people as long as it's 95% of the time. Maybe you're right. Maybe that's the attraction. I'd be wearing that blood pressure cuff, man. My blood pressure would be going up because some of those games, and then of course you'll spawn and then somebody else will kill you, and like as soon as you spawn out there, and I mean that's just a little blood pressure in your neck starts going up, and you're like, no, I can't. So I try not to do that. So I might get into the gaming a little bit more, but right now it's kind of like I want to build a stream that looks good. I mean, my brother told me all this. You see the green screen behind me. That looks like kind of like a Vegas overview, but I got to figure out how to light the green screen behind me so it looks a little bit better. And so I'm trying to put together a stream that looks halfway decent. I'm having a lot of fun doing it. I don't know what gear I need. He told me I needed this blue Yeti, and I've got cameras up the yin yang. I've got, I put a camera here. What do I got? I got a back view. I've got, what do we got? A side view I think I put on there. Do I have a side view on there? So I have side view, back view. So I've got a bunch of different, I even have, I don't know if I told you, I have a cat. My son has this cat, Mr. Whiskers. And I'm allergic to cats. That's probably my congestion. I'm allergic to cats. But this cat, I've locked him up. I've actually pawned him off on someone. But when he comes here, he just thinks he owns the place. So I actually had to create a cat cam and give this cat his own area because I found out the other day when he crawled on me, and I don't know how to put it. Everybody kind of freaked out in the chat. I don't see if you see this little one. That's the cat cam. So when he comes out, that's where he can sit, and everybody can freak because he came up and he climbed on me and just laid his head and just started purring, and everybody in chat was like, "Oh, it's a cat! Oh, it's a cat!" And I was like, "Oh, gee, he pays rent through cat here." I'm telling you, he's the weirdest cat. He has no fear of anything. And he thinks he's a dog. If there's such thing as a cat dog, that's it. He wants to leash. He wants to go for a walk. He's the weirdest cat. I'm telling you. Let's see. Blue Yetis aren't cheap. No, it's not cheap. But when I was getting into this, my brother was the one who said, I said, yeah, I'm thinking about doing a live stream. And he says, oh, no, man, don't do it. Don't do it. I said, I really want to do it. Well, are you going to commit to it? Are you going to commit to it? Are you going to commit to it? You got to have a schedule. You got to keep on schedule. And I said, well, yeah, I'm just trying to think of what I need. So here he gives me this list. Well, you got to get yourself a big 50-inch monitor. You got to have this. You got to have a 31 over here on the side. And he's giving me all that you need to have these 2 sets of lights that are 6,000 watts, looms to do the. So I ordered all the stuff, right? I spent way more than I should have spent on all of this stuff. And, I look back and I think to myself, okay, so I've got the stuff. I got the big monitor. I've got the laptop. I've got this over here. It's a 30, 40 inch, whatever it is. I've got all these different cameras, and I get all this stuff, right? And then as I start doing it, I'm like, wait a minute. There's people that are streaming on a camera. They'll do like I do the stream in the morning. All I use is my camera. I put the camera in the little holder on my car, and I drive into work, and I drive home, and I stream every day. I didn't need to spend $2,000. I have to have a stream deck. You got to have this little stream deck so you can, so I can say, So here's kind of, so when I say, oh guys, I'll be right back after this break, so I can push a button. Ready? I can go, I'll be right back after this break. See, that I needed to have all this stuff so I could like push buttons and do, and then come to find out you can do it on a damn phone. I could have probably done it on my laptop. I don't know if I needed all this gear, but it's kind of funny because now that I have it, learning how to do it actually gives me as I said, it gives me a whole new perspective of what these streamers go through. And when they're streaming, man, they're sitting there, they go through all these different, and I've watched a lot of these channels, and I'm gonna tell you, some of them are weird. Some of them are definitely weird. I did make it to that there's one called ASMR. Yeah, I did things in reverse. You're right. Electricity that he makes. Yeah, I haven't made anything yet. Nobody's given me a bit. Nobody's de-virginized me with bits. Nobody's given me tips yet. So I'm still kind of a virgin in that area because, of course, I just found out. You guys told me I can't have bits until I get 50 followers. And so I'm learning. These are the things that I have to kind of go through. But I just laugh because as I go through this and as I'm putting these together and I watch these streams, your break audio is twice as high as your vocal, your break audio is twice as high as your vocal audio. Okay, good to know. So I have to adjust that level. But yeah, the lights that I have, these big LED lights, they're not too bad. They're not too expensive to run because they're LEDs. But what was I saying? Oh, the channels that I go to, I did go to like. Have you ever been to this channel on Twitch called ASMR? It's the weirdest channel. You should go. If you ever get a chance, go look at these channels. You have like dozens of people, subs, ads, sponsors, donos, bits, catch. Yeah, I know, and that's eventually I'll get there. I mean, I know that my biggest thing now is just building followers. I want to get a group of people, just a lot of cool people that can talk about whatever. That's the whole thing. I just want folks who come in and we'll just kind of have some fun for a couple hours and just chat. That's what I want. I mean, if we can get that, I'll be cool. Yeah, it's the weird whispering, right? That's exactly what it is. Have you seen the channel? These people there, they sit there and they talk and they scratch paper and they go, listen to the sound of the paper scratching. Listen to the cardboard. Listen to the squeaky balloon. And it's just this weird. So I actually thought it was like some kind of Miko. Hey, how's it going, man? Very relaxing. If you see, and I didn't know it was a thing. I'm going to be honest with you. When I looked at it, and everyone was doing something different: cardboard, tearing paper, squeaking balloons, or styrofoam, and I kind of thought, I was like, well, man, maybe some cult is like taking over Twitch channel or something. I didn't know, so I had to go kind of look it up, and I actually did I just kind of Googled it to see what it was about, and it apparently there's. From these, correct me if I'm wrong, this is my understanding of it, is different sounds have different effects on people's body. Like, for example, and this is the only way I can think of it. Like when I hear nails on a chalkboard, when somebody goes, and they like kind of scratch a chalkboard, it just makes, it makes this reaction of my body. So I'm kind of thinking that's maybe what this is. It has different effects on different people for the different sounds. And that's, so as I went back and kind of started watching it, then it made sense. But until I read that, I was going channel after channel expecting something to be going on. And there was something going on. I just didn't understand what was going on. So, yeah, it's definitely something that was different. Supposed to give you a tingling sensation. Yeah, and that's kind of what nails on a chalkboard does for me, but it's not quite as good. Tingles is basically the hair on your neck. Yeah, and that's exactly what it just took me a minute because some of the channels are very straightforward. I'll go around, this guy's gaming, and Fortnite is Fortnite, World of Warcraft is World of Warcraft. But then you see, channels will kind of stick out, and I'm like, oh, that's something new. That's something different. And that's kind of where I actually stumbled into that one and went, well, you learn something new every day. Tonight I've already learned, what did I learn tonight from Dr. Apple? I learned something about what was it? The Jewish religion. I learned something about Jewish, that they use the first 5 books, I think he told me. So I always learn something new, but nothing surprises me. Since I've started streaming, since I've started doing this, I've tried to follow, I know a lot of the streamers, they have their schedule, so I've tried to put myself on a schedule, and I've tried to kind of find the channels that I enjoy. That was where I was talking earlier before you got here. I think I was talking to them about one of the guys that I watch. He's streaming. Actually, what is 9? Yeah, he's actually streaming now. I think Barnacles is the one guy that I watch. Jerry, it does a stream called like Nerdgasm. So I've tried to watch and learn what makes a good stream, because to be honest with you, when I first started the stream, I kind of in my head, I wanted a stream all about politics. I wanted a stream that was going to be political, and I could learn about politics, and that lasted about 15 minutes, because after I started, because I never followed politics at all, I really wasn't that guy, so I didn't follow it. And then once I started learning, and I realized, I would have an aneurysm. I would blow a gasket. It was something I didn't want. All of a sudden going from wanting to have this political channel to just going, oh God, no, I don't even, because people would ask you questions, and I would give an answer and man, everybody wanted to fight or argue, and I was like, wait a minute, it's just an opinion. We all have them, but so I quickly decided maybe politics isn't the best direction. But everybody has a point of view. That was kind of the whole thought behind POV America, was everybody's got a point of view about something. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's, UFOs or conspiracy theories or whatever. Everybody's got a point of view on something. So I kind of wanted to do that. And I was like, yeah, let's have a channel that'll kind of do that. Now that ASR is a little more than mainstream, the number of content creators and viewers have increased significantly. And unfortunately, the downside of that comes with the universal rule. Sex sells. Well, see, now, let me tell you what. I will say this in all fairness. I go through those channels, and I don't have the assets. I don't have a lot of the assets that some of the streamers do. And I have went to, and I'm not begrudging any streamer. Please don't think I'm bashing anybody, because I'm not. But I've gone to some of the streamers, and I go to them for the same reason everybody else does. I'm like, now what is this? And I click on click on it, and I'll go into a stream, and they're talking about absolutely nothing. I mean that sincerely. I mean, they're talking about nothing, and I go, wait a minute, why has this person got 200 people in that channel? And I can't figure it out. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's like the assets that are there. They're in yoga pants, and they're sitting there going, oh my God. And then Becky said to me, oh my God, look, Tiffany was over at the dressing room the other day, and Jesus, she just said this, and oh my God, I was so embarrassed. And I'm going, please, oh God, shoot me. What is this? And people are like throwing money. I mean, thanks for the bits, thanks for the $5, thanks for the tell, thanks for the subscribe. And I'm going, wait a minute, what am I missing? So I sit there and I'd watch, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? What are they doing that's eliciting all these people to subscribe to this channel? What content? And it was all about, I was like, what content? What interesting something is there? And then I would look and I'd go, oh, wait a minute. I get it. And I'd go to another channel, and I'd watch that one, and I'd go, oh, I'm seeing a pattern here. And then I go to another channel, and oh, yeah. It's a tame cam girl. Yeah, and it is. It's not, it's more suggestive. It's like the suggestive art of manipulation. So, yeah, absolutely. That's what it is. It's not the content. It's not. Now, don't get me wrong. I actually follow a couple. There are some that are, to continue from that, when's your yoga stream on the way? Yeah, well, it's funny, I just went out and bought some hot little pink yoga pants. I was going to try them on tonight, but I figured, that halter top, it ought to go good with it. So we'll be doing that on Saturday. Be sure to stop by. So yeah, I don't think it would be number one. I'm quite certain there would be a knock at my door if I started streaming in yoga pants and halter top. It'd be like, Mr. Johnson, you're gonna have to stop. My wife Hillary says you got to stop that stuff. You know, it's Bill. But man, if you could come outside, yeah, more like a raid. Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah, so. No, I think that yeah, they would probably be some. There's probably some law on Twitch. Matter of fact, I think if you read the small print, it says Brian cannot stream in yoga pants. Gotta have my Mountain Dew. Oh yeah. So yeah, so I get it. I mean, I do see that there's a pattern with the female. Now there are some of the I follow a couple of girls that are actually talented. I mean, I'll be honest. There are some that the one girl I follow, she plays the guitar and she sings, and she's really good. And let me see, how can I put it? I don't want to say she's ugly. I don't want to say that because I don't think that's I think that, but she's not there to put her assets on display. She's there to put her talents on display, and meaning musical talents, and she's very good. See, so many, what is that? So many laws. No yoga pants and pools in Arizona. Fascist state. I'm telling you, you in Arizona, you got. When I was in Arizona, every house had a pool. I think it's a law. And here now that I'm in Florida, I'm telling you, everybody in Florida is 90 years. I think, matter of fact, I think you have to move to Florida once you hit a certain age. I really believe that. I think that there's. No doubt in my mind, you hit a certain age, you got to go to Florida. And then I think they make you wear those ugly golf pants. I think that's another thing. You got to wear the golf pants, and yeah, it's terrible here. I don't know. Matter of fact, is it Miko? I don't know where you're from. Are you in the U.S.? I come to find out that I didn't even think about this when I started streaming. I was always thinking as I was reaching local folks here in Florida, or maybe. It never occurred to me that people would, I have one person that watches from Australia, one from Germany, all over the world. And that never even was, when I started streaming, not even England. Really? England. See, so what time, it's 9:30 at night here. So what time is it where you are? I mean, that boggles my mind. I get up in the morning at 6:15 a.m. It's 2:30 in the morning, and man, that's amazing. That just amazes me that, that big of a time difference, and you're up, unless you're doing like a midnight thing maybe. But I do have one of the guys that watches that we've been on a few times, and he actually works midnight shift, so he comes on because I'm usually on. I'm ahead to bed. Hey man, Dr. Apple, I appreciate you coming in tonight, and thanks for the follow. I do appreciate it, and it puts me up to number 40 out of 50. So have a good night, man. We'll see you again, and like I said, I'll see you. I'm regular time here, Central Time anyway, 7 o'clock. But yeah, so it's you're up early, slept early last night, start work at 6 a.m. Oh man, yeah, English, I'm jealous. England, I'm jealous. Yeah, it's weird. I get up early. I get up at 6 o'clock, and I'll stream. I stream a 6 a.m. show when it's 6 a.m. here, and I have people that'll watch me, and they'll say, "Oh, I caught your morning show, but it was like evening time over there," and I was like, "Oh, well, that's interesting. I didn't even." So yeah, I'm kind of yeah. Good night. Yeah, have a good one. We'll see you. See you later, man. Hopefully you come back again. But I haven't been to England yet. I worked for a company called Deutsche Post, and I was really lucky with them, really blessed. I got to travel. I was in Costa Rica, Paris, Bonn, Berlin. I mean, I love traveling, and I did a ton of traveling. I never made it to England. I wanted to. A lot of times when I would travel, I'd actually take time off. Don't be. Your weather is horrific. Our government is in shambles. Your government is in shambles, and our people are divided. But at least we have football, real football. No, wait a minute. I was watching on I went out for lunch, or for dinner the other night. Is your football where the guys just have like knee pads and elbow pads, and they like throw this ball and they just keep moving? Is that? I wonder if that's what I was watching. And they all like just pile on each other, and the ball, and anybody that grabs it. Oh, soccer. Okay, that's just using your feet then. It's not using your hands. So, okay, well, I understand soccer. I was watching something the other day where these guys were using their hands, and they were throwing it, and like one person, and it was just like the whole goal, the whole thing was to get from one end to the other end and score. So a whole lot different than soccer. So, but not that U.S. type. Hey, look, I'm going to be honest. I have a lot more respect for people that are soccer players because, number one, you're not covered up in these pads and everything. And I mean, I've seen some hits in that actually, yeah. But it's one of the things I could never understand the game. I have never spent enough time learning the game to appreciate it. I appreciate how totally, you have to be athletic more than a lot of the sports here. I mean, I look at like, I'll give you an example. If they had pads and helmets on, threw the balls forward, that's the NFL. If they had none of that and passed the ball backwards. So rugby, maybe I was watching rugby because the whole thing, like one guy would take the ball, he'd throw it back to the other one who'd run, and then he'd toss it to this guy, and this guy would run. And it was that's all they did. It was like this ball was going, and then they'd get to the end. But, I mean, there was like piles of guys on top of each other. They were no pads, none of the stuff like they wear in the NFL. I mean, these guys were just like all over each other, and man, they had absolutely no mercy. So I was kind of, that was actually cool. I enjoyed watching that. Soccer to me, yeah, that's rugby. Okay, soccer doesn't seem to move as fast. I mean, that was a fast game, and everybody like kind of went at. I mean, that was, to me, that was a fun game to watch. Soccer I've watched even back when they had Pele. I probably aged myself there, but soccer doesn't seem to be as quick moving for me. Certain games I get, like basketball here in the U.S. You probably got basketball there too, but I just don't get anything out of basketball. You dribble down, shoot, dribble down. I don't get anything off. It just doesn't move fast enough. Like hockey. I love hockey. I can watch hockey all the time. I mean, it moves quick, powerful hits. And every now and then they just drop the gloves and a fight breaks out. That's a fun game. I can watch something that moves quick like that. But when the games are slower, like baseball, oh my God. And that's the American game. That's the game. It's all American baseball. You know what? I'm good for a few innings, but I got to get up, walk around, and you just get kind of tired after a while. It's fun, but yeah, not all that. So anyway, oh God, I'm on my 2 hours. Yeah, I was only going to do 2. Oh, see, I kind of went over that, didn't I? Yeah, I was going to do 2 hours tonight because I'm just kind of checking out the stream to see how it looks and see how everything works. So I appreciate you guys coming on. If you can, do me a favor and follow me, and you'll boost me up to 42 or 41, whatever I have to. I have to have 50. So I'd appreciate it if you could do a follow. There you go. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate the follow. I definitely appreciate that. Definitely appreciate it. So I will. I'm going to probably let you guys go tonight. I didn't realize it's already 9:30 here. Probably 3:30 there where you are. It was where you said it was in the morning. 3:30 a.m. maybe. Yeah. So it's. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try and wind down. I actually was only going to do the 2 hours tonight, and I've actually exceeded that by quite a bit, I think. Let me see. How have I? Actually, I haven't dropped any frames. I mean, you know what? I might hang out for a little while because I've been watching the frames. I don't know if when you watch this, I don't know if the stream, does it get jerky at any time when you're watching? That was part of the thing I was kind of tweaking tonight is the actual image itself. When it gets jerky and, I've been trying to adjust that and make sure that it doesn't keep happening. So the stream is, okay. That's cool. I'm glad that I'll hang out a little bit. Where when I started doing this, every day I started with OBS software. They told me, oh, my brother says you got to get OBS, but then of course that changed to no, you need to have Streamlabs, and that changed to you got to have Stream Elements. So I have changed the software 3 times, 3 different times, 3 different, every single time it's something different I got to learn. And now I'm into technology. I don't know what are you a technology guy at all, Miko? Are you a technology? So you go to work at 5, did you say? I saw somewhere here, I think you said you go to work at like 6 a.m. or something like that. You slept early last night, work at 6 a.m. Okay, so you work at 6 in the morning. So I don't know, you're probably not a tech guy then, because most of the tech guys, we like to sleep in. Constant 1080, no buffer, and no frames drop on your end. That's great. I'm glad. I'm really trying to do it to where I can tweak this to where it's a smooth stream. And I was trying it last night, and I did a couple test videos, and I would watch it, and it was like I was that's kind of how I was doing it. So it was really you're a jiu-jitsu coach. Oh, but you love building PCs for resale in my free time. Well, I'll tell you, that's definitely a. Now, do you have your own? What do they call jiu-jitsu? Is it a dojo, or what do they? Do you have like your own place, or do you work for another company, or do you start your own? Free time. So, and then you build PCs in your free time. Well, you work at 6 a.m. So let me think. You probably work from what, 6 to 5, 6 to 6 maybe. So in the evening times is probably when that'd be a cool job to have. The only martial arts I learned, the only self-defense, everything I learned came when I was in the Army, when I was in the military. And they teach you, it's not like a Krav Maga style, but they teach you a much different, it's not about flips, it was a much different type of martial arts. But yeah, that was back when I was actually in shape. And I actually had a healthy body. This is, I work for another local MMA gym. Oh man, I'd like to go in early before. See, now I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the gym. I mean, I had a membership, but to be honest with you, I just have not been committed enough to focus on doing it. My biggest focus has been losing this weight. I weighed in January 1st. I don't know if you saw some of the streams I did from the beginning of the year. At January 1st, I weighed in and filmed my weigh-in. I weighed in at 305 pounds. Now, I'm 5'10", and 305 pounds is the heaviest I've ever been in my entire life. When I was in the Army, I was 150 pounds, 155 pounds. So January 1st, I did a weigh-in for New Year's Day, and I weighed 305 pounds. So have you heard of Jordan Peterson? No. Is he Jordan Peterson? The name sounds familiar. Was he in the news recently? I mean, are you going to tell me he's the guy that was 600 pounds that just died? Don't give me any news like that. I don't want to hear. But no, I don't know who that is. I don't know who he's. Jordan Peterson. All right, I'll buy it. Who is he? Is he an instructor? Something to do with health, maybe? But yeah, I had he's a clinical psychologist, professional. Oh, okay. Shunned and shouted down by the left. Oh no, we were talking earlier. I was actually telling you this was original channel was going to be politics, and man, I stopped that because the first time somebody I followed the diet plan. It was the most horrific thing I've ever. What I ended up doing, I'll tell you how I ended up. On January 1st, when I saw that weight, I said to myself, I says, you know what, I need to change the lifestyle. First, I wanted to just change my lifestyle. I was eating way too much sugar. I was drinking sugary drinks, I was eating potato chips and just junk food. I had never cooked at home. It was all. It just wasn't a good lifestyle, so I'm going to just change my. And I ended up cutting out my carbs. And my VA doctor said, you got to eat. You got to have 5 meals a day. You should be eating constantly to build your metabolism. So anyway, I did that. I actually, so in less than 30 days, I went from 305 pounds down to 274 pounds. I dropped weight like nothing I'd ever seen. And I was eating constantly. I was having wings. I was having, I was just eating constantly, eat, and the weight kept falling off. And then one day, a couple weeks ago, about a week and a half ago, I decided to go to the movies and had some popcorn and got those carbs. Whew. I heard about this carnivore diet and how amazing it's been for him. His depression cleared, gum disease. Oh no! See, yeah, this, I was eating. I mean, and I'm not making this up. I couldn't make this up if I wanted to. Every single day, I would go out and buy a pork tenderloin. I would have a pork tenderloin, and I would go have 20, 30 chicken wings. I could eat anything. I could eat chicken and pork and beef. I didn't have a lot of beef. I just didn't have a craving for it. I love chicken though, so I would have chicken wings, chicken breasts. I'd have pork loins. I'd have. You could eat anything. I mean, I could eat and eat and eat. I would go to Golden Corral as a buffet. They probably don't have it where you are, but they have this buffet. I would go in there and I'd get roast beef, that would melt in your mouth. I'd get, slices of ham. I would get chicken, not the fried chicken where they put it in the batter, but I would actually just get the regular baked chicken. And oh yeah, it was the best. And it was kind of like the Atkins diet. It was really, but I would have I'd have broccoli. But I didn't crave the sugar anymore. I didn't crave. People said, "Oh, you won't be able to do it because you want mashed potatoes and you want all these carbs," and I didn't. I didn't want any of it. I ate and ate until I couldn't eat anymore, and so it was Miyaju. Lewis. All right. I don't know what that says. So I have to have an auto translator. I just got a message, but thanks for watching. I appreciate you for watching. Mi ajuda a ir morar. He wants help to move to the USA. Oh, are you serious? Did you actually just translate that? I have no idea what he said, but yeah, I wish I could help you. I don't know what to tell you. But you got to think twice before you come to the U.S. because you got a guy who wants to build a wall, and he wants to build a wall to keep everybody out of coming into the U.S. So make sure, before you say you want to come, make sure you definitely want to come. A lot going on here now. Crazy place. Everybody's crazy, especially if you're a Democrat. Whoa. So, yeah, but that's, so I'll get healthy. I'm going to drop some more pounds. Help me move to USA. Yeah, I wish I could, my friend. But as I said, make sure you want to come here because there's a whole bunch of garbage going on here that you got to watch the news because they're muy loco la cabeza. Is that how they say it? How did your politics? I literally made a comment. Somebody asked something, and I just. How there's such a divide. You talk about your government in England. There's such a divide here, between Democrats and Republican parties. So if you say the wrong thing, man, you will get hammered. And somebody said, do you think they need? They asked me if I thought we needed a wall. Are you for the wall or against the wall? So I simply said, well, I think a wall is a good idea. I don't think it's the only answer. I think it's a good idea. I think we should have it. It'll keep the drug traffic out and keep the bad things out. Oh, my God. You would think I killed this guy's mother or something. He went off about how evil the wall was. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. You asked me. Oh, I'm from Brazil. Well, yeah, you got to worry about a wall if you're from Brazil. Come on down. Just take the long way around. But, yeah, it was different. I just simply said, this is what I don't think it's the answer. I think it is a deterrent. It's not going to stop all of it. It'll stop a good portion of it. But I also believe, and I was trying to tell this guy, you can't have a wall without having some kind of pathway to citizenship, because that's really what this is all about. It has nothing to do with the wall. It has everything to do with a pathway to citizenship. people want to know, how can I become a citizen instead of spending 20 years to get in? Because that's what it takes now. It takes like 10 years, 12 years. It takes them a long time. So I said, and this is just me. Now I'm a veteran. I did 8 years in the Army, including a tour during Desert Storm. I said, here's coming from me what I think. Build the wall, and you say to the folks who want to come, you say, look, you want to come into the country, you want to be part of our country, here's what I think would be a great way to do it. Is you simply say, look, all you have to do is commit to a 4 or 5, maybe a 6-year enlistment in one of the military services. So you come in and you become, and basically you're given temporary citizenship for you and your family while you serve in our armed forces. You keep our country strong. You prove that you are, you have everything that it takes to be part of our country, and you are willing to defend it in case it ever needs to be defended. But give them that kind of an option. Say, look, you will get, and then after you serve your time in the military, you can stay in the military, make it a career with your family, or you can go ahead and get out and you guys are citizens, you and your immediate family, wife, husband, and children, you're citizens because you served our country. So there's got to be a pathway. So it's not like I'm just saying build the wall, keep them out. I do believe that, I don't know if you watch the news from what goes on here in the U.S., but they actually caught 250 pounds. I don't know if you know what fentanyl is. Fentanyl is one of the most deadliest drugs out there. They stopped 250 pounds of this stuff from coming into the U.S. That's enough to kill 50 million people. I mean, think of that. This 250 pounds of this drug was enough drugs to kill 50 million people. Now, I don't know about you, but I think that that's a really good argument for trying to keep stuff like that coming in, But that's just, But anyway, if you get into a political discussion, you're going to be eviscerated because there's going to be somebody there that is just going to, they're going to lay into you because you're evil, or there's people that are going to say, hey, yeah, that's a great idea, I agree. And then in case you're going to get other people, that it becomes like this whole argument where you're like, okay, well, this was cool, but it wasn't where I wanted to go. I really thought it would be a very friendly exchange, just a friendly exchange of, thoughts and information about politics. But all of a sudden, when I started researching it, I had never followed politics before. For 30 years, man, I kept my head down. I worked. I was served in the military. I raised my kids, and I made sure that they stayed out of the drugs and the bad people, and I tried to do my best there. So I never followed politics. I just trusted. Not a good thing. I trusted that, you're heavy into U.S. politics. Yeah. See, I can't. I don't know. It's tough for me to follow politics here because I tried really hard to be open-minded, because people would ask me all the time, are you a Democrat or are you a Republican? And I would say, well, yeah, I'm one of them. I don't know which one, because I really don't follow politics, but I wanted to learn. So I started to learn, and I started to follow politics because, as I said, since I was 18 years old, we're able to vote. From 18 years old until today, I have never cast a single vote in any election, national, local, or anything. And it's not because I'm unpatriotic. I served my country, did my Desert Storm thing. It's not that I'm unpatriotic, or it's just that every single time I wanted to vote, I didn't like the individuals or what was being voted on. It was always crooked or something dirty about it. And I never wanted to compromise my ethics or my integrity by casting a vote on something I didn't agree. Which is to live in the U.S. Well, you know what I'm going to tell you? The U.S. is a place to be, but like we're talking about, you got to be careful, because people here are absolutely crazy sometimes when, if you don't know where you stand, if you're as I tried to learn about these politics, the Democrats, is fentanyl the most deadly drug? Yeah, it basically is. A grain of salt, fentanyl the size of a grain of salt, can kill you. It's what's his name died of? I think Michael Jackson. Or was that propofol? Well, that was propofol. But I mean, it is one of the most deadliest drugs. So, But yeah, it really was one of the things that as I started learning more about the politics, I tried to figure out Democratic, Republic, which one was I was a Republican, and really, I'll be honest with you, I was trying to be open minded, but more and more, as I've watched, you said you follow the U.S. politics, you're really heavy into it, so you see the same thing I see as I've been watching it. The Democrats, the celebrities, all these celebrities that live behind their walls and their gated communities, they want to tell you what you don't need, what you don't want. But the truth of the matter is, they're Democrats, and it's as I've started watching and learning more and listening to them. I watched Nancy Pelosi the other day. She was on and she said something. She says, "Oh, this whole thing with the border, the wall, and all this border security, that this is not something new. This is something we've been going over for 30 years. We've been dealing with this." I said, "What?" I says, "You're bragging about that for 30 years? You've been in politics. You've been a politician for 30 years. You've been dealing with this issue. Do you know we have probes on the outside of our heliosphere beaming back pictures and data to NASA? We've got rovers on Mars. We've got technology that unites the planet, and it didn't take us 30 years to build all that stuff once we got started." I was just so irritated. So it was really, as I started learning, the more I listened to these Democrats, and the one lady came on and she's doing her press conference. She goes, "Well, we've tried to talk to the voters. We've tried to reach them up here, but that's been to no avail, and we haven't had any luck. So now we're going to try to reach them here." In other words, what she was saying is the American public was too smart to believe their bullshit, and we weren't going to sit there and believe what they were just throwing out there. So now they're going to try and reach our heartstrings by showing pictures of, little Hernandez Rodriguez at the head of the, train and all this stuff. So NASA Curiosity rover, yeah. Well, hey, that thing went. That little rover was only supposed to be there for a small amount of time, and they got way more than they ever thought they were going to get out of that stuff. So I will say, but we've come a long way, but we still got a long way to go as a country. I mean, when you fight against, you got these two political parties that just don't get it. So, hey, YOLO Gamer Q4, thanks for the follow, man. I appreciate you. You're on Mixer, one of my Mixer guys. All right, I appreciate your follow. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we've got problems in our country, just like any country. Like you have Brexit on yours. You were talking about, Miko. So I understand that there's definitely problems everywhere. But here in the U.S., a lot of the stuff we deal with is not rocket science. And a lot of people talk bad about Trump. I mean, I remember my brother called me up. He called me up and says, "Hey, man, guess who's president?" I said, "Oh, well, I don't know. Who's president?" He goes, "Donald Trump. They elected Donald Trump. He's now our president." And I was like, "Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I watched Apprentice. I mean, that's a good show. I mean, I'm sure he'll do okay, because he's a businessman. He's not a politician. You can't bribe him. You can't pay him off. He's not going to take your dirty money deals under the table, as president. He'll do it when he was a businessman, maybe, but not as president." So they like to badmouth him and try and turn everybody against him. But, the funny thing is, you can't argue with what he's done. You look at it, and they don't even dispute it. And at first they tried to dispute it. That was great because the Democrats tried to go up against the numbers and dispute it. Now they don't even do that because it speaks for itself. So you look at it, unemployment is at an all-time low in the country. The minorities, the Hispanic and the African Americans, their employment is better than ever before. There's more jobs than there are people to fill the jobs. There's so many positive things going on in the country. You can't really just. So what you do is you try character assassination, just like what they did with Kavanaugh. You try to go after the person and not because. So and I'll tell you exactly my opinion. Did he sleep with somebody? Did he sleep with a prostitute or whatever she was, a porn star or whatever? Hey, high five. I don't care. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me. That's between him and his wife or whatever they were. It doesn't matter. Did he lie about this? Did he do? Hey, maybe, probably. I believe it. He's got an ego. He's narcissistic. He's got an ego. He's got all these things. But you know what? If it doesn't negatively affect my family, and it doesn't negatively impact my country, I'm okay with that. You're from the outside perspective. I find U.S. politics absolutely fascinating. If I was a U.S. citizen, I'd definitely be myself, being on the right side. See, now I don't know if you heard my theme song that I was playing earlier. Left, when people talk about, when I started learning about politics, they say, oh, which way do you lean? They say, which way do you lean, left or right? I have no idea what that means. I don't know what side is a Democrat. Does this mean do you lead, they talk about conservative, liberals. Man, I'm going to tell you, I get lost in the jargon that they would use, and I'm like, look, Democratic, party, Republican Party, pick a side. That's kind of how I felt. But that's the left to me seems to be unhinged at times. Now, is the left? I'm assuming the left is Democrat. If you use the word unhinged, I've got to assume that's the Democratic Party. Is that the left? Is that when you say leaning? I'm assuming leaning means left towards Democrat. They don't really like the freedom of speech, and they tend to use anecdotal statistics. Yes, see, I knew that. Rather than imperial data and facts. Exactly. And they don't like facts. They want to play to your emotions. They want to kind of don't. It reminds me of, there was a scene in, remember the old Wizard of Oz with Ray Bolger, and they're pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. That's kind of, they don't want you to look at reality. They want you to look at their reality. So that's kind of what I find amazing. It's like, well, we're not going to worry about the data, because those are just facts and accurate. But what we really want you to focus on is over here. Look at this. Look, hey, look, I'm making look at the little birds. I really I figured it was a Democrat. See, I'm just not. I was trying to be very impartial. I really was. And that whole Kavanaugh thing fascinated me. I mean, I actually went back and rewatched a ton of stuff on it, because I couldn't believe what was happening. I couldn't believe all the Hollywood people. I couldn't believe all the people. It was like guilty before proven innocent. I mean, I really was just in awe, and I watched it, and I wondered how many Americans were seeing it the way I was seeing it. You were eviscerating this guy. You were ruining this man's life. There was not a shred of reliable evidence. I mean, absolutely nothing held water. It was like the Jussie Smollett's, or whatever the guy's name was, of politics. It was just like, oh my God, I can't believe what they're doing to this guy. And I went and rewatched it, because I kept thinking I missed something. What did I miss? But it wasn't. I didn't miss anything. It was just, that's their tactics. And they think that they're going to win America over because of those tactics. You know what I did the other night? Here in the U.S., we have the Oscars. It's a self-serving television show where all the celebrities high-five each other and give each other awards for the best shows, the best movies they do. So I was going to watch the Oscars. I clicked it on, and literally it wasn't even 5 minutes, and the first thing out of the gate was some kind of a political joke and jab, and I just turned it right back off. That easy. I'm so tired of, that's kind of one of those things where at a certain point in time, I believe if you're a celebrity, if you're a person of, in the entertainment industry, that's your business. I don't want your political BS. I don't want you to stand on your soapbox and give your 2 cents. None of that. So, Orange Man, bad in there. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's just very. I mean, I was going to watch it because at one time years ago it used to be entertaining, and then but now all of a sudden they've opened it up and allow these celebrities to grandstand, make political statements and all that. And you know what? It's not the time. It's not the place for it. You're using your celebrity platform as a platform for politics. So I clicked it right off. I was like, yeah, you know what? No, not even going to go there. And I didn't even care. At that point, I didn't even care. I was like, for me, didn't want to watch it. But that's kind of what you put up here in the U.S. You've got to take the good with the bad, because these, when I watch these celebrities that get up and they'll sit there, and these are people that are rich. They have millions of dollars in the bank, and they're going to tell that guy who's working 9 to 5 grind, making $35,000 a year, they're going to tell him or her who to vote for and what they should feel and how they should be about this and that, when they're sitting there driving their Bentleys or their fancy cars and their fancy houses, and they don't know what it's like to work for $35,000 a year. Many of them have, and even if they ever did, they have long since forgotten it once they became a Hollywood. What they do know is how much money they want to save. The Oscars used to mean something. It would celebrate the pure of the film. Yes, incredible directors and yeah, exactly. And so you've watched them before, and that's really what it was. It was when I was growing up. I used to watch because it really truly was. You could almost tell which were the best films but now who are the best actors. And today, it's not about. Well, I will say though, the guy that got the Oscar, I looked on YouTube to see who was the best actor. His name was Malik, I think it was. He played. He actually was in the Queen epic, the movie they did with Queen, which I enjoyed. I thought the guy really was the epitome of Freddie Mercury. I mean, I really enjoyed the movie, so I was kind of glad he got the Oscar. Now the other one that they talked about was A Star Is Born, and I don't know if I've seen that one or not. Yeah, I think that's the Bradley Cooper, Lady Gaga. I seen part of it, the very first part, but I don't think I watched the rest of it. So Bohemian Rhapsody, and it was great. I mean, I liked it. I mean, there's very few movies I go to. I mean, I go to a ton of movies, but there's very few movies I go to which I enjoy to where I want to see them again. Like I went and seen Aquaman. Too much CGI. I didn't care for it. But then I went and seen a different one. I can't remember the name of it now. The name escapes me, but it was more of a sci-fi one too. But it was good. There's certain ones I like, but ones that I see that I would see a second time. Like I don't know if you ever seen Deadpool. If you ever there's a comedy. It's kind of a Marvel one with Ryan Reynolds. I must have say I've seen that a dozen times. Every time I watch it, there's something else. So. Well, I would agree with that. I mean, let's think about what happens when you've got people like just look at what we went through here with. There was one of the, and I can't remember because I'm not a big sports guy, but there was a guy here in the U.S. who took a knee during a football, Kaepernick or something. He was a football guy, and he took a knee to protest, during the national anthem. And I took that as a slap in the face. I'm a veteran. You take our country, good, bad, indifferent, the past, I mean, you accept it. That's a representation of our country. So you want to make a statement, you don't do it with the national anthem, So that was one of the things. But, people stood behind him. Some people didn't stand behind him. But that's the kind of stuff that, they do. They try to use their celebrity status or their companies to make these statements. I mean, some of the statements are good. Like there's companies in here. I don't know if you guys have a Chick-fil-A. Like Chick-fil-A, they lose out on billions of dollars a year because they close every store in the country on Sunday. Even during Super Bowl, the actual Chick-fil-A that was located, that's in the Super Bowl stadium there, even that Chick-fil-A on Super Bowl Sunday, when they were having it, was closed. So, yeah. Cree Warrior 11, hey, how's it going? Thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate you. We're just kind of going through some things here, but yeah, that was the. So that's an example. Some of the companies here, they they make their statements known a certain way. You know, with the folks at Chick-fil-A, they close every Sunday and they lose billions of dollars doing it, but that's their values. You know, they Sunday is the day of rest, and they're a very religious organization. Other companies like what was it? It was called Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby took a stand because they were saying that they had to cover contraceptive or some. There was something going on with this Hobby Lobby, and they took a stand and said, you know what? We're not going to do that. We don't believe in that. It goes against what we believe as a company. So we're not going to pay for maybe it was abortion, or maybe it was or maybe I think it had something to do with contraceptives or something, that they were going to have to cover them under insurance or something crazy. But you know, a lot of these companies will take their stand. Other companies like Google and these tremendous huge companies like Facebook and Google, they're little latecomers to a lot of that. You know, they're not going to be made to do anything. They're going to do things that they kind of want to do. You know. Gotta love my Mountain Dew. So you wish we had a Chick-fil-A? Yeah, if you've never had it, the two restaurants. If you ever come here to the U.S., two restaurants you definitely want to go to. Now, one of them is only pretty much in the western states, you know, a handful of western states. It's called In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out Burger, you definitely have to do if you ever get here in the U.S. and you're in one of those states where there's an In-N-Out Burger, or Chick-fil-A. I don't care where you have chicken. If you want to go to get a chicken sandwich at Burger King or any of these other places, they will never compare to a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich. Unbelievable. Tender, juicy, great. Highly recommend it. 2 thumbs up for Chick-fil-A. 2 thumbs up, you know, for In-N-Out Burgers. So, yeah, and In-N-Out Burgers, the weirdest thing, if you've ever, I don't know if you've ever heard, actually, if you look them up on the internet, here's a company, I'll give you an example. Here's a company that totally, your managers, if you manage an In-N-Out Burger, you make $80,000 a year before your bonuses and everything. And you can't be a manager, even if you worked 20 years and managed a different, you know, fast food, you cannot be a manager at an In-N-Out. You have to start as a cashier and work your way up into management. They don't just hire somebody as a manager, because the managers they have just don't leave. And once you're a manager and you've made that, it is the best job. These guys are amazing. You walk into a Chick-fil-A, or not Chick-fil-A, but you walk into an In-N-Out Burger, you will look around and you'll see 20 people in all white. They got the white pants, the white shirt, the white hats, 20 of them. And you're like, where? And they all work there. There's just one little location. They're sweeping the floor, they're mopping the floor, they're cleaning the tables. The bathrooms are immaculate. Now they only sell hamburgers and cheeseburgers. That's all they sell. You can't get chicken sandwich. You can't get onion rings. It's hamburgers and fries, cheeseburgers or double cheeseburger. You know, very simple menu, but they are huge, and they're one of the most popular burger. Matter of fact, after the Oscars, all the celebrities go to In-N-Out Burger after the Oscars. It is like the best burgers you'll ever have. They have their own farms that they grow their lettuce on. They have their own farms that grow the tomatoes. Everything in their burgers and you watch them. They have, when you go through the drive-thru, they have glass windows, so you watch everything being made. It's amazing. Their stance on abortion. It just not made. Now, what is the stance? I think the abortion stance from the Democrats. This is just what I'm hearing lately. Is it's okay for women to have an abortion up to the time where she's dilated and ready to give birth. That's I believe what their stance is, and they just approved that in one of the states or a couple of the states. So you can literally be in labor, dilated, and still say you want an abortion, and they give that a thumbs up. That's good to them. That's the American way. All women have that right. So I think that's a democratic. Is that what you understand too? So, I mean, I think that's at least the big news here. That's their stance. Abortion, you can have late-term abortion. And now you don't need multiple people. It just needs to be one doctor to say, yeah, go ahead, do it. Yeah, and I think that's kind of why I have a problem with that party. They are truly out there. When they have one lady. Matter of fact, I don't know if I think she might even be a Republican. I don't know who but she's a psycho person that that came out and said, "Oh, we're having this huge problem with these farting cows, and we're gonna do away with all of these, the greenhouse, it's another nutcase." Well, all three Democrats voted against the procedure. Just look at Monday when all but three Democrats, all of them but three, voted against a procedural motion that would punish any doctor who fails to provide medical care to a child born alive after an attempted abortion. Oh, well, yeah, and of course that stands to reason because that goes right along with their agenda. See, so we don't want to punish them. If they had an oops, oh my God, it's still alive. Well, we tried. They don't want to punish them because that, of course, would stop them from doing it. See, because if I was a doctor and I knew that I could be punished, then guess what? I might not do it. Well, they don't want that. They want you to do it no matter what. So, yeah, it fits in their agenda. That's why I said there's something up here that I just, the whole thought of that party kind of makes me very queasy. And the neat part about it was I kind of feel that I was lucky. I was pretty lucky because I got a chance to literally learn about the Democratic Party without ever being jaded or exposed to it previously. I got a chance to learn about the Republican Party without being exposed to politics and having one opinion or the other. I mean, I really feel that I was lucky because most Americans, as they grow up, they form their opinions on Democrats, Republicans, the way they should feel, the way they should be. They accumulate these beliefs and they're leaning here and there. And I just didn't do that. I wanted to serve my country, raise my family, keep my kids away from drugs, keep them out of the gangs, and I wanted to do the things that I could do to be the best parent I could. And even that, because I worked, sometimes we work so hard earning a living, we don't live a life. And many times, there was things that, I didn't get a chance to do, or there are things that I wanted to do, but I wanted to do what was right so I would hopefully make things a little bit better for my kids. So I didn't focus on Democrats or Republicans or politics at all. So now here it is, the beginning of this year, I was like, I'm going to start learning. And all of a sudden, I'm like, when I start learning and I start seeing it and being exposed to it and trying to stand back and be impartial and say, okay, well, let me hear this person out. Okay, well, let me hear that person out. And then when I started hearing them, wow, how terrifying. I mean, Democrats are their own worst enemy. So I think that, really you've got a bunch of old white people that really are just waiting to die and want to see what commotion they can bring apart before that happens. I mean, I don't think they care about my country. They don't care about me. They don't care about really, truly solving our problems. They want to tell you what to fear, what to be afraid of. They don't want to lose control. They don't want to lose any semblance of power that they might have. So it's, I guess I'm still 3-4 years ago, I could care less. And now I'm deep into it. So I was able to view it without being swayed either, being that from England. Yeah, see, and you know what? We had, that's a great thing because think about how it would have been if you would have, grown up being exposed to all of it and really learning it from the time you were young. You would really be leaning one way or leaning the other way already. But as you get older, they say with age comes experience, with age comes wisdom and knowledge and all those things. And I believe that. I mean, now that I'm older, I can step back and I can say that if I was exposed to this stuff when I was younger, I would be much more susceptible. I would have been much more much more able to be blinded by it than to see through the bullshit. So now that I'm older and I'm wiser and I see the real world, I've lived in the real world, not just my limited picture of the real world. I've seen it, been there, done there, served my country, did the things that I've done, and I understand how hard it is to raise a family. I understand how much you have to sacrifice. It's a lot harder to fool me now. It's a lot harder to believe the BS that they're slinging. They want to tell me why I should be afraid of this, who I should blame. I don't blame anybody for anything, because you know what? That's not the problem isn't who you should blame. Because if we have anybody to blame, it's ourselves for not going with what we know to be right. Late-term abortion up to the, dilation, that's wrong. You just know that, but yet the Democrats are for it. So there's just things, as I've gotten older, it's become a lot easier to see clearly. And I think the young, impressionable, the millennials that are out there that are young, impressionable, they see the Lady Gagas of the world. They see the celebrities saying, this is how you should feel. You should badmouth Trump. You should not stand. He's a liar. See, they don't understand. They really don't understand how life really is. Does he lie? Everybody lies. That's actually, there's a series called House, had Hugh Laurie in it. One of his House-isms was everybody lies. So I don't put it above Trump not to lie. Does he lie? Of course. He lies daily, I'm sure. Does he cheat on his wife? He probably did. Who cares? The thing is, he's making a difference where it matters. He's more of a businessman than a political pawn, So, I think it'd be legal for parents or schools, teachers, professors to bring young children to post. Yeah, see, I never understood why people. I mean, honestly, if I was a kid, my parents tried to drag me to some rally. I don't even know if kids today would, younger kids would care one way or another. I mean, maybe they would be if they were exposed to it continuously, but I agree with you. I mean, you know what? When you're 16 or 18 or whatever, when you're older, then you can go to these rallies. I mean, my parents were union employees, and they would go to these different picketing, when they would have, when they go on strike. They would never. I'd ask to go. I'd say, "Hey, I want to go with you, and I want to hold this sign. I want to be part of the." And they would, they would never take me. And I think it was very much probably the same. They didn't want to expose me to that at such a young age. So, but at the same time, I think children are intelligent. Children are not like they were 20, 30, 40 years ago, where they were easily imprinted on because of social media and what they see every day, and they're exposed to. I think kids are a lot more intelligent than we give them credit for. So I really don't know if it would be that big of a deal as much for kids today to go to these things, because kids were really, they're just not as, they're not as filtered as they were decades ago. Today, kids see this stuff on every movie they watch, on television, on the internet. So I don't think, now if they're 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, yeah, they don't have any business being there. That's just ridiculous. They're more of a nuisance than any good anyway. They're just, but, those are the same, here in the U.S., when kids are funny because, here in the U.S., you're not even supposed to spank your kids. They don't, I grew up, now it's just me, I got my ass beat. My dad would not hesitate to take off his leather belt and spank my ass if I deserved it. And you know what? I can count probably on two hands how many, or one hand maybe, I don't know, how many times I actually got an ass whipping. But when I did, I deserved it. I mean, it was something that was so, it bothered my father so much that I did something. He was trying to correct me. So I never cared, about the ass whipping, because I knew my dad loved me. I mean, I knew that, but unequivocally, no matter how many times I got an ass whipping for stupid things that I did, which many times, and I'll be the first to admit, they were stupid things. But I would get my ass beat, and you know what? I think I turned out pretty good. I mean, maybe I'm not the best dad, maybe I'm not the best husband, maybe I'm not the best person that I could be, but I didn't turn out too bad. And my kids, when they were growing up, I spanked them. If they needed a spanking, I gave them a spanking. I mean, my dad used to tell me, he'd say, this is going to hurt me more than it hurts you. And I never understood, especially when you're getting the spanking, you don't understand what that means. But when you become a father and you have to spank your own kids, I mean, there's times where I would go and I would literally, I would be miserable at myself because I had to punish them. And they, you don't want to ever let them see that, but you still, it tears you up because you had to be the disciplinarian, and especially if you have a wife that didn't like to be the disciplinarian. Without the discipline I receive. Yeah, and you know what? And I really believe that if, nobody wants their kids to be, like my kids are, I couldn't be more proud of mine. I have a son who's right now going to school full time still, and he's a deputy officer for the corrections here in Florida. And, he stayed away from, he's not an alcoholic. He's not a drug user. He doesn't have gang member friends. He doesn't, I couldn't be more proud of my daughter, my son, my kids. And it wasn't because, I mean, the bottom line is they're going to make the decisions that they make. I mean, I couldn't change that. Like my son would pick up cigarettes. I caught him once with a pack of cigarettes. I said, what is this? I said, you're not a loser. You don't need these cigarettes, But the thing was, I couldn't, he's old enough to where I couldn't tell him don't smoke. I could tell him, my grandmother died of cancer, my mom died of cancer. And he knows all of that. And it's like I could say, the same thing with the vaping. They do the vaping stuff today. That's a big thing. And, as a parent, you can only say, please don't, because I care about you. But you can't make them do anything. I realized a long time ago, I can't change anybody. The only person I can control is myself. And I don't even do that very well half the time. So, I look back and I think, did I give my kids a spanking when they needed a spanking? Yes. Did I not give them a spanking? I mean, there's times where I remember one time at a house I had, my son put his hand through the window. He was like leaning in the window or something. He smashed this window, and he recoiled, and he had this terrified look on his face, like I was going to spank him or be mad. And I was just so happy he didn't cut himself, and the window could be replaced, but I couldn't, stomach it if he was injured. So, but I realized at that moment, I was like, look, maybe, as a parent, maybe we send that message that, a broken window is a bad thing, but there's also times where shit happens, and you just don't get punished for that. Yeah, the discipline. See, so obviously you probably got spanked from time to time. Yeah, that's kind of how I was. But yeah, you always hope the best for your family, your kids. But sometimes, you worry more about like my weight. Like my son. My son had his weight. He's a big guy, heavy guy, and I found out when I dropped that 30 pounds. I dropped 30 pounds. It wasn't hard, but it was kind of like you have to reach a point where you want to make that difference. And I beat myself up. I'll lose the weight, and then I'll put a few pounds back on, and I beat myself up because I get upset because I fell off this or whatever. But it's all a mental thing. You've got to want it bad enough and eventually make that decision, So I don't know. It's weird. Life is kind of it's what you make of it. But if I'm lucky, I'll stick around for a few more years. My dad died at 59, so he was relatively young when he passed away. I keep hoping I'll stick around to see what our country becomes. I kind of, I want to see if Trump actually gets reelected. Matter of fact, hang on a sec. Let me, hold on one sec. See if I got it here. There we go. Yeah, I don't know if you can see, though. This is it's probably dusty, I don't know. But this is my Trump hat. So this is kind of one of those things. I'm like, okay, let's do it. We'll go ahead and put him in. So I am kind of curious to see if he'll be reelected in 2020. See, now this is as soon as somebody comes in and they see the hat on me. I don't know if you can see. Can you actually read it? I don't know if you can actually read it. But if somebody walks into the channel and then they go and they click into the channel and they see the hat, all of a sudden they'll start saying something probably. Oh, you're a Trump person, So, but yeah, this is the 2020. I am kind of curious, Yeah, it's not inverted, right? You can actually read it what it says. All right, I see it inverted in my window here, but yeah, it's kind of funny because I know for a fact I want to see this next election and just find out. Here in the U.S., the Democrats are trying to put as many people, they're trying to entice celebrities, and they want to put as many people running to take votes away from Trump. They want to try and get these people that run for president. And, so the big red MAGA would be the one that attracts the most trolls. See, now I'm going to have to go look for one of those. I don't even care about trolls. I don't mind. But, yeah, I want to try and find out what's going to happen this next election. I know that they're trying to get as many people they can to run, so they'll take votes away from Trump on a lot of the stuff. But they're doing this thing now where in our country they have these electoral votes. I don't know if you follow it. They have electoral votes that they have an electoral college, and basically what they're doing is saying that no matter what you vote, you have a popular vote, and then you have this electoral college. And what they're saying is, even if all the people in your state vote for Trump, and then he gets the popular vote, that they can actually they can turn your state from a Republican state to a Democratic state with these electoral votes or something. So there's something going on. I was trying to follow it, but I just it was just one more thing that when I found out the Democrats were behind doing it, it was just one more example of the underhanded stuff they're trying to do. They're trying to say that, oh, we don't need that. So people that want to get rid of the Electoral College are people that would support it if Hillary won, right? And that's kind of what they're trying to do. They're trying to say, now, if we can get rid of that, and then it'll be where we don't have to worry about even if the people elect the president by the popular vote, the most people vote for him because he's popular. That doesn't matter because we can do it this way and come in the back door and steal it. So that's kind of where I was. It was kind of getting a chuckle out of it, going, okay, well, yeah, that's. Something new. Anyway, so did you? Let me see, what time is it?
It's 10:30.
Oh, it's 10:30. Oh my God! All right. Well, hey, Miko, I appreciate you coming on and spending some time with me. I definitely. I don't know if you. Let me see. Did you? Oh yeah, you followed me. Great. I appreciate you. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna let you go because I know it's gotta be. Man, it's gotta be wee hours in the morning where you are. It was 3:30 an hour ago or 2 hours ago. I'm gonna let you go, and I'm gonna try and I do a stream your time. I do it 6:15 my time in the U.S. Not sure what time that is where you are. Probably in the evening time, I'd imagine. But I do a stream 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and in the evening I do one at 7 o'clock. So 4:24 for you. 4:20 in the morning. Going to take my dog for a walk and get ready for work. Hey, thanks for spending time with me tonight. I definitely appreciate it. And come back, we'll do it again, and we'll talk more about this political system if you want. I don't mind, but I definitely I don't think you should envy us at all because given my druthers, I'd probably be joining you right there where you are. This country's kind of got a little crazy lately, so I definitely wouldn't mind the vacation. So have a great night, man, and we'll talk to you again soon, and talk to you later. Have a good one.